Well, hey, everybody. Good to see everyone here. Man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've gone live and wanted to, given recent stuff going on, I wanted to pop on, go live, say hi to everybody, catch up with everyone. And of course, there's some breaking news regarding some stuff that's currently it's going down kind of in our society that, that's what the thumbnail was about. It's what I put it on there. There's some craziness going on out there, and in the fashion of my channel, Bridge the Divine, this is my focus is these looking at these things that divide us and cause division, and finding ways to try and bridge them with education, rationality, reason, and sometimes just basic logic. So that's kind of what Oh, I forgot to turn them on. There we go. So, but yeah, it's wild out there, and I do apologize if you happen to hear it over the stream, because my window is right here, and even though I've got it blocked up, taken care of, I have a neighbor next door who has, I shit you not, has La Cucaracha as their car horn, and so they've been working on it most of the day. And they hit it, and La Cucaracha plays. So if you happen to hear that, I apologize. But yeah, I've been dealing with that all day, and it's kind of annoying. So, oh man, before we kick off, let's see who we've got in the live chat today. Let's see what's happening. All right, I see Sean Alexander popped in. He's a member of the Godless Army. Do appreciate it, Sean. He says, "I wish I could tune in tonight. I'll have to wait till I get back from vacation. Cheers, all." It'll be a pleasure to have you back. Thank you so much, Sean, for popping by. And yes, Heil Greg, love the new emoji. Absolutely. I love that emoji too, and I'm very proud of it. And given, he's turned himself into a book-burning sociopath, I feel it's warranted. Because, when you destroy knowledge, when you destroy, points of view, when you destroy literature and the things that it brings us in order to cultivate or in order to further push your own agenda, then that's a bad thing. That's what fascists do. And that cult that Greg Locke runs out there in Tennessee. People need to be made aware of that is a cult, and they're really messed up. And not to mention, it's also wild that Tennessee is also trying to push. I think it was recently revealed that Tennessee is trying to lower the age of when it's legal to get married. And it's really, really strange over there. It's disturbing. But yeah, I love that new emoji. I feel it's warranted, and I hope Greg Locke sees it and Greg Locke enjoys it as well, because he loves it, because in his own words, he loves everybody enough to be hated by some people. So whatever. Nimrod, good to see you. Thank you so much. Says hello, everybody. Hello, Nimrod. Good to see you. Steaming Cup of Reasons in the house. Another member of the Godless Army. Says, hey, folks, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry to hear about your Discord server, and I'm glad you got another one up. I got your message, so that sucks. But I hope everything gets sorted out and situated, and hope that you get the following comes right back. And so, but that blows that you have to deal with that. So I am sorry to hear about that. But good to see you here. Thank you so much for popping in. Mark Short's in the house. Says hello. Good to see you, Mark Short. Commander Darklight as well, another member of the Godless Army. Says, hey guys, good to see you, Commander Darklight. NANA as well. Hey everyone. Hey NANA. One of my oldest supporters. Appreciated NANA, member of the Godless Army, and a supporter over at the Week in Horror podcast. So I do appreciate that, NANA. Good to see you around. Tony Regime as well. Thank you so much for being here, bud. And I see Mark Short said there's only 3. Hint, hint. Mystique. Tina's in the house, member of the Godless Army. Peekaboo. Hi folks. Good to see you, Tina. Thank you so much for being here. And hey, there's the plot hole. Really enjoying the Heil Greg emoji. Yes, thank you so much. He's got a lot of work on his plate. He says, I must engage lurker mode. Too much work on the plate. I did shoot plot hole and invite in case he wanted to join, or in case he needs a break and he wants to pop over and talk about something, because what I'm wanting to talk about, what I'm wanting to bring up, and the reason for the thumbnail tonight was some breaking news that occurred just this morning about 11:30 a.m. Essentially, it occurred in Texas, and it's that extreme situation that we all kind of fear. This is kind of like the jumping off point. This is the bad result, the really, really bad result that came from what Greg did. we knew that there were going to be negative, repercussions for what Greg Abbott did in that state, and now we are facing them. So it's come down. Absolutely insane. So, but good to see you, Plot Hole, a member of the Godless Army. Appreciate the support, bud. Gonna go for it's in the house. As Hey, Bridge the Divide. Could be worse. Imagine they had a Dixie horn instead could be jumping a 69 Charger over your house. This is true. This is very, very true. So, NA enjoying the Heil Greg emoji. I absolutely love it. I love that Greg Lock emoji. Y'all enjoy the hell out of that thing because it's one of my favorite emojis next to crying Otangelo and Darth Dawkins with the red duct tape on his face. I really enjoyed making that one. It was fun, and it came together extremely well, especially after the angry Santa emoji. Yeah, I was half proud of that one. It was, I was like, it kind of came out sort of, and it's visible, you can see it. But I like the Greg Lock emoji. I'm really proud of that one. Elizabeth Sylvester's in the house. Good to see you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for being here. Do appreciate it. All right, so got a number of people in the chat, and we can basically talk about what's going on. So first and foremost, the name of the stream was the Slouching Towards Bethlehem stream. And for those unfamiliar, the phrase "slouching towards Bethlehem" was from a poem by Yeats that was written in 1919, and the poem utilized Christian imagery regarding the apocalypse and the second coming. In order to kind of describe Europe in post-war Europe in the aftermath of World War I. And I think if you remember correctly, the line goes, and what rough beast its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. And it basically talks about a coming revelation. And so it was obviously post-war Europe after World War I was really, really gross. And that was Yeats being very poetic in describing this as like there's something, something in the event of all these terrible tragedies, it must be leading towards something huge. So, but mine is the reason I'm using is kind of the reverse because there is something coming, and it's not conspiratorial in this sense, but in like an extreme divide. So is what I'm referring to. And of course, you see, it's the state of Texas up there, and I took some liberties with the state seal of Texas. And kind of made it into, combined it with the state seal of with the state image of, or the state seal of Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale. And that's because recently, we got some more people that are popping in before we dive into the thing. Hey, Flat Derp, what's up, Flat Derp? I'm loving the God and Angel series. That stuff is hilarious. But definitely want more of that. But good to see you, Flat Derp. Appreciate you being here. Aaron Colston's in the house. It's his first time catching a live. Hello, Aaron Colston. You're more than welcome. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. It's definitely an appropriate emoji for Greg Locke. Absolutely. Clive Wells says hello with the obligatory ghost. I do appreciate that, Clive. Who else we got? Martin H. is sitting quietly at the back of the room. Good to see you, Martin H. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, more God and Angel. We need more God and Angel. Oh, Clive Wells says, I have a meeting tomorrow to discuss the leak of Project Bulldog information. Project Bulldog. Is that something big? Because it's the first time hearing about it. I have not heard about this before. Project Bulldog. Project Bulldog. I don't know what that is. And obviously, it is either is something that is kind of an inside thing that I'm not aware of, or I'm not sure. But yeah, if you want to elucidate, Clive, I'm kind of curious. What is Project Bulldog? Is confidential. Well, obviously it's confidential because it was leaked. So, so I don't know what it is, but it sounds serious. And of course, if Clive is talking about it, if Clive is involved to discuss the leaking of confidential information, then I imagine it is very, very serious. So the only thing that came up, if I actually looked it up, I just did a cursory search, Project Bulldog. No. This is a global. The only thing I got is Cis Dogs, a global media survey about the Cis Dog client, which ran some parts of this document, including the name, were appropriately adjusted to honor the client. I had already, let's see, the list of services we provide looks like a global media services provider, which is obviously, I don't think, what you're talking about, Clive. So there's nothing on the internet about it. So I don't know. But I guess we'll find out. Let me see who else popped in here. Regios is in the house. Good to see you, Regios. Says hello, everyone. Just listening in. Member of the Godless Army. Appreciate that, Regios. Thank you so much. And I see H. Jasper E is in the house. Good to see you, H. Jasper. Appreciate you being here, bud. Thank you so much. Martin H says, well, it was confidential until I blew the lid off of it. I don't even know what it is. So if Clive Wolf divulges more, then we will find out. So this big thing recently occurred, and it was around 11 a.m. Central Time in Texas, and is the whole reason I kind of felt the need to go live, even though, Martin H blurted out some stuff on a previous live stream. He is in big trouble. Martin H, that's bad. That's not good. So, but here we go. So let me see if I can share this over. So apparently, over in, I got to separate this tab. No, that's not it. There we go. Protesters gather outside Texas jail after reported abortion arrest. So what happened in Texas was, and this was reported by Reuters at 11:30 a.m. So it happened a little bit before that. So it was around 11 a.m. What happened was a small group of protesters gathered Saturday outside the sheriff's office in southwestern Texas, where a 26-year-old woman was reportedly charged with murder after performing what they said was a self-induced abortion. So her bond has been set at $500,000, according to valleycentral.com. The sheriff's office would not confirm the report or return request for comment. So apparently she miscarried at a hospital, allegedly confided to hospital staff that she had attempted to induce her own abortion. She was reported to the authorities by hospital administration or staff. And that's pretty much it. So she is being held on a $500,000 bond in the state of Texas for supposedly inducing her own abortion. So that's the details are scant, and the authorities are being very tight-lipped about what's going on in the situation. But the reality of it is that someone has been arrested for inducing their own abortion, because the state of Texas has the absolute strictest laws possible in the United States of governing abortion. And because anyone that would assist her, okay, so basically how it breaks down in the state of Texas, it's illegal to, in the state of Texas, it's illegal to get an abortion, flat out 100%. But the federal law overrides that, and it means that anybody who has an abortion cannot be prosecuted because the federal law declaring anti-abortion methods unconstitutional, the federal law protects it. So so the Texas could not bring up charges against somebody, because in the state of Texas, it's considered to have an abortion is considered murder. So that's always been the case in Texas, but they can't prosecute it because federally it's protected. It's the same kind of thing. It's almost kind of the reverse in states where marijuana is completely legal, like in California. You have shops that you have weed shops that have it, but the federal government still considers it illegal. So the federal government can come in and raid you, but ultimately, because you're in the state of California, you're protected by that. So, but the federal government can come in and take your money, and they can take all your product. So it's really insane. And so this is the reverse of that. Whereas in the state of Texas, it's always been considered murder to have an abortion, or to perform an abortion. They would consider that an accessory to murder. Whereas the federal laws protect that from being protected for is calling it unconstitutional. But on the books, it's murder, like straight up 100% murder in the state of Texas. Well, now because of what's going on, it's incredibly problematic, because you have a young lady, she's 26 years old, and maximum fine for rape in Texas is $10,000. This woman's bail for an alleged abortion is $500,000. It's absolutely insane. So, and yes, Zachariah Hooper, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Bud says the state of Texas seems to have become totally fucked. In essence, she attempted to induce her own, because trying to get an abortion in Texas is extremely difficult. It's become damn near impossible. And the majority of women don't realize that they're pregnant before 6 weeks. So it's literally like a month and a half. You have to know that you're pregnant within a month and a half. and you can have an abortion then. But after that, it's illegal to do. Or after that, it's criminally it's liable. The people who assist you, the doctor, the medical clinic, anybody who assisted you in getting there, would all be liable and could be brought up in civil court for $10,000 a pop. Those people can be sued, and anybody can sue them. So that's why it turned people into the citizens of Texas into bounty hunters. If you find someone, if you know someone who's had an abortion, then you can go after anybody who facilitated that. But the woman who had the abortion, the woman would be exempt from that. They could not be sued. But in this case right here, she has done this to herself. The word is that, because this, like I said, information is scant. The word is that she induced it herself, was unsuccessful, had to go to the hospital where she miscarried. And so the attempt to induce the abortion, in which resulted in her miscarriage, she has been arrested on charges of murder, of murdering the fetus. Now, we don't know how far along she was. We don't know the personal circumstances. We don't know how she got pregnant. There is a lot of details that are not available right now, but it really doesn't. But I personally, all of that is irrelevant, because this woman is being held in, I believe it's Rio Grande City, on $500,000 bond for inducing an abortion herself, because she had no other alternative, because Texas has stripped away that right. This is what we were afraid of, that the state would start locking people up who had an abortion, or individuals who are poor or lack means, or if you're living in an area like Rio Grande City, which is it's in the county seat of Starr County. The population was 13,000 at the time of the 2010 census. It's 41 miles west of McAllen. I know that doesn't mean a lot to anybody, but this is an extremely rural town. And to give you an idea, and I'll share this over, just to give you an idea of Rio Grande City. Hey, Hulk and Bright, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So, I'm a believer in Ha Mashiach Yahawashi. Good to see you. Says, hi, if you want to bless or curse to someone, you don't have to practice witchcraft or worship Lucifer in order to do that, but you can choose to worship the true God, Yahawashi, in order to do that. I don't know who Yahawashi is, but that, yes, it just kind of sounds like a noise a sneeze makes. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So I will share this over. So if you get to give an idea as to, let's remove that and let's share this one, so you guys have an idea as to where the heck Rio Grande City is as far as rural. So this is the border. So this right here, and you see that dot is where Rio Grande City is. Let's zoom out. It's literally on the border of Mexico. There's McAllen, Texas, right above the border. There's Matamoros, South Padre, and that's the Rio Grande. Rio Grande City sits legit on the Rio Grande. And then right there is the border to Mexico. So it is super, super rural. This is a deeply rural town that not a lot of access there. I've been through McAllen one time, and it's super simple. It's kind of, yeah, I would say kind of like a midnight mass town, Hulk and Break. Yeah, it's small, it's secluded, it's rural, and obviously the people that live there are not. It's not like, not huge in means. I mean, Nuevo Laredo is literally right there. So, but yeah, this is a tiny town in the middle of nowhere. There's the town right there, and you got to go. I mean, there's McAllen. And north, all of this is nothing. There is nothing out here. I mean, there's little San Isidro, but San Isidro is nothing. San Isidro is a road. So as far as incorporation goes, there is nothing out of all this. And of course, there's down south in Mexico as well. But all of that, this girl had nowhere to go. Where the heck was she going to go? She's 26, living in one of the smallest towns in Texas, and this is the only option she had. So, this is what Texas has done. And all of this. Oh, hey, Mr. E-Man, good to see you, another member of the Godless Army. Do appreciate the support, bud. See you in there. Thank you so much for being here. So this is what's absolutely terrifying. And the other thing, the kind of like, we were always afraid, people, those of us in the activist community, were always really afraid that the precedent that Greg Abbott has set would allow for others, would give ideas to other states regarding what they could potentially do, what they could try to sneak around the Supreme Court. And Oklahoma, where I currently live, is also entertaining the possibility of basically doing a universal ban on abortion in the state of Oklahoma. So Zachariah Hooper says, I'll bet that if a Republican knocked up some prostitute behind his wife's back, he'd be in full support of abortion all of a sudden. No, he wouldn't. We'd never hear about it. He'd just backdoor it, you know? Backdoor it, have her sign an NDA, pay her $25,000 and send her on her way. It's insane. It's just crazy. And this is what's wild, because, and the whole like slouching towards Bethlehem thing is that as extreme as this is where we get to extremes. This is where the religious right and religious extremists, extremist evangelicals or extremist Christians are driving us, because eventually there will be a division where the people who are being misrepresented, plot hole, where the people that are being misrepresented and these laws that are curtailing those people's rights will eventually stand up. And this causes, and I mean, this is essentially grounds for revolution. I'm not calling for one. I don't think one is necessary. I think communication and getting people together aimed at the right board, we can vote people out. Because remember, all of this goes away. All of it goes away if Greg Abbott loses the election in November. Because whoever takes Greg Abbott's place, so as long, I mean, if it's not someone who's aligned, obviously someone running against, he's running against Beto O'Rourke. If Beto takes Abbott's place and gets rid of him, all of this will be pulled back. All of it will be rolled back. And that's that's the kind of the beauty of the country that we live in, is that things like this can go down, but if another leader goes in charge, it was put in charge, then all of this can be rolled back and it wouldn't be a problem anymore. But if Abbott is not pushed out, like wheeled out, then Texas is just going to keep doing it. And eventually, it's going to be curtailing abortions and women's rights. Then it's curtailing LGBTQ rights. It's curtailing trans rights when it comes to medicine. It's telling doctors what they can and cannot do. It's telling parents what they can and cannot do. And it does not stop until everyone is marching to the same fife, and that is evangelical Christianity. Or Christianity, I mean, if you just want to say just Christianity itself. That's how you get theocracies. That's when Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, Satanists, atheists are pushed out, because for two reasons. One, because nobody wants to be associated with them because they stand against the theocracy, and we don't want to live there. So it ended up just going away. So that's how you do it, is you push things off the board. So just like in argumentation and debate and logic, reason, philosophy, God has slowly been pushed towards the edge of the board, if not off of it in some cases, for as far as like explaining things. They're reacting back and pushing us off the playing board by not wanting to share space with us and making their states impossible for people who think differently to live in. And that's problematic. Obviously unconstitutional, because it's not what America was founded on. I think our founding fathers would balk at the very notion of these things, but it's not like these individuals care. They care about the power, they care about the money, they care about the access. Greg Abbott, I would honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think Greg Abbott would give a damn. And if his base didn't believe the stuff, then he wouldn't try to tout it and push for it, because he wants to keep that governor's seat. He likes those cushy wheels. And obviously doesn't want to lose the governor's mansion, doesn't want to lose the access, doesn't want to lose the power that he has. You want to see, I mean, that's tax money that he's getting right there. Boom. And who wants to give up their seat? No one wants to give up their seat of power, especially if they don't have to. And especially if you're voted in, all you got to do is tell your constituency exactly what they want to hear, and pass a whole bunch of laws that really basically state that we don't want, the opposing view to even live here. So why don't you go ahead and move to another state that's more accepting, and we'll just have our own little state. This is problematic. And the federal, and in my eyes, I want okay. So at what point can the federal government step in? At what point can the federal government step in and draw a line that the state cannot cross? Because we have the 10th Amendment. And this is, but, just like, and this goes so much deeper, in my opinion, because this goes back to what Johnny and I were talking about last night. Frauditors and soft citizens, individuals like that, they will toe the line to the point of extreme because they can. And dangerous people, dangerous mentalities will always do it because they are conditioned to negative attention. They like the negative response. They like people having the rise, and then social media has given rise to, made it easier for this to happen. And because of public image, cracking down on these people only kind of justifies their message. So states are, so local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement are put in a precarious position, looking one way to the public while trying to do their legitimate jobs. It muddies the water, and that's what they're allowed to do. They're allowed to do this because of the rights they have. So the price we pay for these freedoms is vigilance. We have to stand up against it. That vigilance takes all kinds of forms. Takes the forms of activist groups that go out there and steadily try to curtail this stuff, and basically try to get good information out there so that these crazy people don't spoil it so badly that they turn public opinion against law enforcement. It's takes the form of YouTubers who create content that point this stuff out and be like, look, this is what's really going on. These people are scamming you. They're grifters. They do not know the law. They are going to get you in more trouble if you follow this, if you follow their advice. And eventually they push us towards the point where the federal government has to crack down, lest the whole thing comes apart, because that's how it works. If you toe a line, if the authority draws a line in the sand and you toe that line long enough, eventually they will, and you cross it. Eventually they are going to push the line back closer to you in order to keep you from hurting other people, because they've got to keep people safe. The reality of it is the government's job there is to basically regulate the economy and pass laws that keep its citizenry safe. And I don't want to get into the conspiracy theories about what you think the government is really doing, or what's all the crazy lunatic stuff that goes on behind the scenes and the BS of politics. Just what a government is supposed to do is regulate its economy, regulate foreign affairs of other countries, and make sure its populace is safe by passing laws. And that we're all governed under the same, under the Constitution. So this is what our government is supposed to do. But we have the 10th Amendment that gives the states their individual rights, that gives them some sort of, that gives them autonomy from the federal government when it comes to, making decisions. And the question becomes, at what point does the federal government draw a line when individuals like frauditors and soft cits, when individuals start towing the line to the point that they start getting people hurt, or states start towing the line so badly they start stripping people of their civil rights? At what point do they step in? I honestly am very much, I'm very much of the mind of having them step in immediately and crushing this crap, because it has to be. Otherwise, I don't want to be in a situation in this country where it gets worse before it gets better. I don't want to see how far Abbott is willing to go, where all of a sudden there are raids on free clinics in the rural parts of Texas in order to try to root out the evil abortionists. I don't. Because even if they're not performing an abortion, if someone were to report on them, imagine if you think about how many free clinics there are that are predominantly, they service the Latino community in the state of Texas. Now, say someone drops a line to the state of Texas or to someone that they're performing abortions there. Then all of a sudden, there's a big hit, there's a raid, or there's an investigation. The clinic, and maybe the clinic gets shut down. And if that happens, less people are served. It does more harm than good. This is a very, very precarious slope that we are on. And the Christians that don't, and it's two things. One, those of us who are not Christian, those of us who are a-religious, obviously have to do our part by standing up and seeing these things, recognizing them, and talking to our leaders and voicing our opinions and trying to get that voice together in order to be loud enough so that we are heard. And the Christians who don't accept the stuff, the onus is on them as well, because these are your purported brothers. That this is your brothers and your sisters that are doing this. That they are passing laws and regulation that are influenced by religion, by their beliefs. And that is unconstitutional. So, and Aaron Colson is correct. I think that group would love the federal government to step in, because it'd be a fundraising boondoggle for them. It would, because the federal government steps in, then it's automatically there stripping us of our rights, and our entire message has been validated. Please give us money so that we can fight this thing. It's the same crap. It's absolutely nuts. But where do we draw the line? How can we stop it from happening? Or is it just another fad that will go away? Like moon boots. This is just the moon boots of 2022. Not everybody had them. Some people did. They were marketed really fantastic. They turned out to be crap. And, 6 months later, they were gone. I don't know. All I know is, and I agree with Zachariah Hooper, Greg Abbott needs to be stopped. Mitch McConnell needs to be stopped. Lauren Boebert needs to be stopped. Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to be stopped before she wrecks the giant space laser. Oh, hey, Surf, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Another member of the Godless Army. Hello to you. Do appreciate it. So, it's not good. Zachariah Hooper said the whole point behind Trump's appointed Supreme Court justices is to repeal Roe v. Wade. Funny thing is that they're not going to die to constitutional reasons. So Oh, Jay Carr says, they are not my brothers and sisters. I am a Christian woman from Texas who despises what is going on. Government needs to step in and stop this. Abbott needs out. Absolutely 100%. That is what we need. That kind of message right there is what we need. And I understand, and I talked about this on a previous video when I called out Christians. And this was so ugly because I was concerned about putting it out there, about putting out that video. And that's why I put it out. The concern I had made me put it out. When you're worried, when you're worried about what you've been doing may stir something up, it's best to put it out there because it gets people asking questions. It gets people talking. It gets there. It forces a conversation. So that's why I put it out there. I'm never gonna not put out content just because I fear what it might do, because at least then we can have a conversation and we can figure out what we're trying to say. And Jay Carr is absolutely correct here. Thank you, Jay Carr. Appreciate that very much. Is that they're not their brothers and sisters. These are extremist individuals who call themselves Christians and want very, very badly for this country to become a theocracy. That anybody who does not believe what they believe does not have a place here. That abortion should be 100% outlawed. That women should essentially be subservient to their husbands. That women's rights should be less than men's rights. And that anybody, and then if you can go further and further from that, I don't know if I want to. We're getting to the man in the high castle at that point. Jay Carr says, I cannot stop these Christians. I have tried. I have stopped church. Faith is personal. You live it. You don't preach it. And that's one way of looking at it. That absolutely is. But, okay, because if you think about it, think about the numbers. This is what's wild to me. Individuals like Marjorie Taylor Greene, individuals like Lauren Boebert, okay, Greg Abbott, some of the cats up here in up in Oklahoma and in other states, okay, like Greg Locke, okay, Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen. These people represent a very, very small percentage of Christians. They're just very, very vocal, which is why we hear a lot about them. Plus, they're also trash, so we hear lots about them. They're trash. They call themselves Christians, and they represent a very, very small few. And we see them a lot because they have lots and lots of money, because this country values wealth over character, and we see a lot of them. They make headlines. People want to hear about Joel Osteen, celebrity worship. There it goes. That I'm not railing against the culture. I work in the entertainment industry. I make movies, so I'm as much part of that system as anybody else. But that's just the way it works. But the problem is, they're a very, very small percentage of all of Christianity. Some 70% of Christians, 70+% of Christianity understands the age of the earth, understands evolution, understands the concepts of abiogenesis, okay? Understands the difference between a theory and a hypothesis. They understand these things and they accept them because they recognize that God and such scientific concepts are not mutually exclusive, because they're intellectually honest. But the 70% is not doing enough to counter the 30%. And the 30%, because of what they do, is getting more traction and more visibility than the silent majority. The vocal minority will influence change. We are seeing it happen. We are seeing it influence change, and we have been calling for it. Hell, the Satanic Temple has been calling forth for Christians who don't support this stuff to stand up against their extremist brethren. And they don't do it. Why is that? That's my question. When here in this community, here in the atheist community, if we see somebody who's got a channel up there who's going popular, or has something like this, and they pop off about something and they say something completely wrong or philosophically ignorant, or they make a stupid argument, or they go off and they stoop to the level of just bad argumentation and being intellectually dishonest, we call them out. We do. We automatically, we'd be like, whoa, you're wrong. This is where you're wrong. This is where you need to fix it. And then to make sure, because we understand the ramifications of being divided like this. And J. Carr says, but they are very loud. They ruin my simple belief. They ruin Christianity for all. If they are a poster child for God, I would be an atheist. But here's the problem. The vast majority of America is what sees them. That's what they see, because they choose to be vocal. This is like the 30%. Imagine if the 70% used their same, were as vocal as them, you would drown them out. And politicians would not feel they need to pass laws or pass whatever to try and cater to this group that is so vocal. They make us. They put us in the positions of power that we are in. And I understand that it is difficult when members of your faith are not representing your faith appropriately. I get that. And I get that people in faith don't want more division in the faith. There's already 6 different realms of Christianity. There's already 40,000+ denominations of Protestantism. But something has to be done, because these individuals will push us to the breaking point where eventually people will rise up against this. And we don't want that. I don't want to see the streets of Texas, or even America, anywhere in America, turn into freaking Belfast. It is not necessary between atheism and Christianity. It's very simple. And you're right, J. Carr. True pastors don't speak politics. It's not their job. Plus, they would lose their 501c3 status if they did. But you know, J. Carr, that there are pastors out there that push political agendas in violation of their 501c3s. How many of them have you reported? How many of them have you brought to the attention of larger groups of Christianity that recognize that they are doing harm and have reported these pastors for pushing a political agenda, therefore revoking their 501c3 and eliminating them and their ability to comment because they can no longer live tax-free off the backs of the taxpayers, while influencing the very rules that govern those taxpayers. And I'm glad to see that you've reported, so that, that you've reported 10 of them. They have to be reported. They must. And I know it sounds like I don't want to come off like I'm coming off the rails on this. I really don't. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Stephen Cup of Reason says, it seems to me like Texas is bringing back the Salem witch hunts. Talk about driving society backwards. Absolutely. Only instead of witches, if you consider Greg Locke and his bullshit. By the way, Greg Locke, curses don't come in. You don't understand witchcraft. Okay? You don't understand. And you don't. Like, you're throwing out buzzwords that you think are associated with paganism and Wicca, and whether it's or Alexandrianism, but you are wrong on that. You're throwing out buzzwords that your ignorant followers believe. It's like, oh yeah, those words sound like something I saw in Supernatural or read in Harry Potter. Yeah, that's not the way that works. Greg Locke is an idiot. I saw one of his recent videos. He's a moron. But please, anybody out there who happens to see this, if you're sending sex toys to Greg Locke, good on you. Good on you. Just the look on his face if he opens up a package just full of just dildos. It's just hilarious to me. It just makes me laugh. That puts a smile on my face. Jack Burton says there's too many fronts to fight on in the culture war. Too many conflicts pitting us against each other. Absolutely. There are too much. TP Seeker, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Says, why have those following Judaism been so quiet? And I would hazard, I'm not a Jew. I never have been. I have studied Judaism somewhat. There are people that I engage, there are people that I talk to, people that I sit on panels with that are far more educated on Judaism than me. I do have an understanding that the Judaic faith is very insular. They don't screw with others, and people, they don't want people screwing with them. They are very, they don't engage outside. They don't really go outside of the faith. And and I can understand why, given the history of their persecution, given, throughout pretty much all of human history, given the history of their persecution, I understand why they would want to organize and behave that way. The problem is when you are a public organization and you have influence and you have money and you have access and you have your fingers in politics and you are that secretive, that will open you up to any kind of attack, because they're going to think that this secret organization that we know very, very little about is obviously behind the roots of decisions and things that we don't agree with or we don't like, or obviously hurting me in some way. They'll find the things that are mysterious, the things that are unknown, like the shapeless, amorphous figures that appear out of the corner of their eye. They'll blame those. And unfortunately, the same thing goes for Mormon. The same thing goes for Freemasonry. The Freemasons are blamed because they are a secret organization. Secret organizations will always be blamed. Well, it's the Illuminati. It's the New World Order. Whatever. But you don't hear people blaming the family. So, which I think people honestly should, because that's a very, very dangerous society as well. The whole point is, J. Carr, you stop it with your voice. You stop it with organization. You drive the message. You drive a particular message home. You do the Andy Dufresne. You write a letter every week until they acquiesce. And if it's not enough, you write 2 letters a week. And unfortunately, it sucks. But aside from matching extreme for extreme, that's what you do. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. They are the 30%, they're the squeaky wheel. That's why they're getting the oil. Well, we all have to sit around and watch as everything falls apart because they're getting the oil, which sucks. Mr. Evan says, I have made the same previously. There was agreement upon that point. I don't know. That was something else. TPC says, lobbying is the new bribery. Corruptations only care. Yeah, corrupt corporations or corrupt politicians, whichever one it is, only care about their bank accounts. This is true. Money. It comes down to money. It absolutely does. And yeah, very few are true pastors. Correct, Angel. You are correct. And Steven Cup of Reed says, it is horrifying that a mere allegation can guarantee conviction. It's ridiculous. And here's what's messed up is that she's being held, and the state has all but this girl and her name, just so I don't want to just like forget her. I don't want to get her name out there. Her name is Lizelle Herrera, 26 years old, being held in the Starr County Sheriff's Office with a bond set at $500,000. And Lizelle, pretty much the state has all but stated that they have no idea what to do with her. They've arrested her on murder charges, $500,000. She's not guilty yet. She's obviously hasn't had her day in court, but that's where she's currently at. This girl is after getting out of the hospital, which remind me, I don't know if I have any medical professionals here in the live chat, but those hospital administration informed the state of her actions. Now, it wasn't a site. I mean, I'm kind of curious because they informed the state of her actions. That seems at first glance like a HIPAA violation. But if it harmed her and resulted in her miscarrying, that could be a sign of self-harm, which requires a psychiatric stay and informing the state that they are recommending someone for evaluation. I don't know how the state pretty much works in that respect, but it seems like some very weird wiggle room there, you know? It seems very, I mean, I don't know where the line, where the line is on that one or per the hospital. So maybe she has grounds there. Oh, Tim Bolton says, dude, I haven't heard Silent Majority since the criminal VP Spiro Agnew. I'm old. Tim from the town that the opening scene of Day of the Dead was shot. Waves hand. Oh, so, but yeah, they are. The vast majority of Christianity does not speak out against this vocal minority, and they need to. Clive Wells says, I've reported Martin H. about Project Bulldog. And you're right, Zachariah. Greg Lake doesn't understand his own Christianity. This is very similar to like Otangelo. Otangelo is as bad at Christianity as he is at science. He doesn't understand his book. He doesn't understand his faith. He is a salad bar Christian who picks and chooses what he likes. And he drafts off of people who are more vocal than he is. The problem is I don't think he takes notes, because then he winds up taking contradictory positions and he just makes himself look foolish, and he keeps doing it, which I think it's probably a sign that he gets off on the negative reinforcement. He thinks that attention is good, because in his mind, any attention is good, because if we bring up the conversation and then all of a sudden somebody gets converted, he wins. Congratulations. And if he loses and nobody's converted, well, they didn't want to be converted anyway. Jay Carr says, it is very hard for some of us. This goes against my entire being. I struggle with this daily. I have pagan children. I studied at their choice and love them. Oh, yeah. The H-Man was an idiot, too. This is true. Surf says, sex toys are too expensive. Can't waste the money. I'm sure there's some cheap ones out there. There's some cheapies you could send him. They only have like 2 speeds. Freshman and Jackhammer. Let me see here. I understand that, Jay Carr. It's very difficult. And I'm glad to hear that you have children that don't believe the same things that you believe, and you accept them and love them. And I'm pretty certain you don't think that they're going to hell. Okay, which is a good thing, because one of the things that's been difficult for my mother to try, and my mother hates talking about this stuff. She really, really does. But one thing that was difficult to her is me being an atheist, and my arguments there has led to some division between my mother and I. And I know it's difficult because the idea of being in heaven, like when she dies and goes to heaven, the idea of being there, knowing full well that your child burns in hell, is not heaven for her. That would not be heaven. So she has, I don't know if she's reconciled it or been able to reconcile it, but I know she's had difficulty reconciling the idea of how could it be a heaven if my family is not with me, if my child is burning in hell? How is that possible? How could that be a heaven for her? It would not be paradise. That would be a hell for her. And no one, I mean, the only way it could be paradise is if you were stripped of who you were. And it's not actually you that goes to heaven, not you with your awareness. So if it's not you that goes to heaven, and knowing full well that people that you love and people that you respect and people that you don't want to be are burning in hell, and you can just go ahead and accept this. Oh, well, it's their fault. No, that's not empathy. That's not what we do. But if all of that is stripped away from you, then you're no longer human, and it's not anything human that goes to heaven, and it's certainly not anything human that goes to hell. So I don't have to worry about it either way. It's ridiculous. Zachary says, man, someone needs to send Greg Locke a duck card like the one that Dan Pratt got. That was a brilliant one. Bing. Showing. Oh, duck card, not duck card. Duck card. I knew what you were saying. I thought you were just, but yeah, it was a dick card. TV Secrets says, being silent just helps history repeat itself. Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. J-Car, exactly. So do Baptists, Lutherans, Methodists. Many of us have tried to cry loud in the mega churches, don't know the answer. Yeah. Oh, Tony Regime says, the Freemasons aren't a secret organization. They are an organization with secrets. This is true. Distinction with no difference? I don't know. They are a secretive organization. Have I found the middle ground? A secret organization, secretive organization with secrets? So predominantly, J-Car, wherever you happen to live, going to your legislators is the most important thing. Talking to the people in charge, voicing, getting people to call these individuals. Your representatives are ready and willing to talk. I called one. I called mine live. I did a live stream where I talked to my local representative. And we had a nice chat, a very well-informed chat about his opposition to an anti. It was a bill that would have passed here in Oklahoma that would have banned the outlawing of conversion therapy in the state of Oklahoma. And he took we looked at it for 5 minutes. And says, yeah, this is totally unconstitutional. This will never pass. And of course, obviously didn't have his support. So, you got to talk to him. You got to make your voices heard. You got to organize. You got to make sure that you're calling these people and you're talking to them and making sure it gets out there. And then, of course, if that doesn't work, nothing's precluding you from getting into politics. Because if we can't sway their voices by being the people they represent, then we should get up there and represent the people ourselves. If you feel you have the stomach for politics, or at least find someone that you think would be good in that spot and start pushing them towards politics if they want it. Find a new candidate and get them on that stage. This is the difficulty in it. And this is why, given our current situation, why it's difficult, because typically the people that do this are people who have lots of money. But you can grassroots it. Stranger things have happened. And it's hard, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes work. And yeah, who can take the time off work? We got bills to pay. It doesn't matter what your political stance is. The bank wants their damn mortgage. This is the difficult situation that we're in. But guess what? The difficult situation will never change unless we change it, which means someone's going to take one for the team. Someone's going to jump on something. None of us are going to get across the wire if someone doesn't lay down on it or cut the wire. So it's that's the difficulty of it. Sorry for the war references. It's kind of popped into my head. Hulkenberg said, Extinction Revolution started in March, UK. It's a big turnout. That's fantastic. That's good. Jay Carson is against HIPAA. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was against HIPAA. Aaron Reese says, I'm not a doctor, but I played one in an adult film once. That's funny. To the moon. Hey, Raven Darkstar, good to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. And Christopher Music Channel, thank you so much as well. Thank you for being here. So many amazing people up in here. Aaron Reese says, the vocal extremists are the easiest demographics to nail down for voting purposes, hence their political influence. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Fred Knotts is in the house. Good to see you, Fred Knotts. Oh, he says, Bridge the Divide. My wife is a nurse and HIPAA expert. She said, because it wasn't a facility-performed medical procedure, it's not a violation. Kind of like reporting a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, Colorado Bikers in the house says, howdy botches, hail Satan, hail Sagan, hail bacon. I will bend the knee. I will bend the knee. Oh, Turing Test 2 is in the house. Another member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much for the support, bud. It says, oh, Tangelo couldn't convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, much less an atheist to the faith. No, that man's an atheist generator. That is what he is. He makes atheists. Because that's like a weak-ass God that he's arguing for. Aaron Cole says, HIPAA doesn't allow for private civil action. Basically, she wouldn't be able to sue the hospital, etc. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, it's weird. It's twisted and wrong. I have no idea. Jay Carr says, I have family atheists. It is hard sometimes. Is there a God? No idea. Is there a God? No idea. Each is a belief. Neither can be proven. Well, it depends. That's what I actually discussed this. I actually did a video on this, my last video, my most recent one, where I basically broke it down that the Christian triune God in and of itself, that God cannot exist by virtue of the logical entailments of its attributes. Now, I know that may sound complicated, but the reality of it is, when you say your God can do certain things or has certain properties, like the God has this, the God has that, the God can do this, there are logical entailments that, meaning if this, then this. So if God possesses this, then it is capable of this, or it is not capable of this. So is the problem. So like a logical entailment of like omniscience is it knows all true properties. But another logical, but the flip side of that is that it cannot attain any other new information. So that's problematic. Like, so if God is omniscient and knows all, let's just go with all knowing. You don't have to use the omni. If God is all knowing and knows infallibly all true propositions of the universe, then God cannot attain more knowledge because it knows all true propositions within creation. So if it knows all true propositions, which means it invariably knows the future, it knows all true propositions, then it can't get new information, and then it cannot change a course of action because you can't change your mind, you can't change the line of reasoning, you can't change anything in this respect because you already know what you were going to do infallibly. So that means that humankind falling into sin, human beings being wiped out by the flood, human being the whole rainbow thing, if you want to talk about that with Noah's Ark, everything in the Bible, if it were to be true, God already knew it all ahead of time. And he knows all the way up to the end. He knows the end result. And the problem is that when you know the end result and you created everything and you infallibly know how everything's going to end, where every single soul is going to wind up, then everything in the middle is completely arbitrary. It doesn't matter because God, if God wanted to, could simply go, you know what? I'm done. There's the end. And all the little souls go to all the little places that I already knew where they were going to go in the first place because that's the way I set it up. This is where the argument for the Calvinistic argument comes from. This is where the predetermination comes from, where people were set up from the very beginning that some were going to go to heaven and some were going to go to hell. Those who go to heaven are the elect. Those who go to hell, they're not. And that was decided from the very beginning. So your actions don't matter. No matter how much you praise, no matter how much you fall on your knees, no matter how much you proselytize, no matter how much you slap yourself with a cat of nine tails, no matter how much you expiate, it's all decided from the beginning. That's that predetermination. But that's kind of a violation of free will. So with the violation of free will, if we do have free will to an extent, then because there's the arguments for determinism, the way just the functions of the universe and everything, and how we make decisions based upon previous knowledge, that we are pretty much predetermined to decide what course of action we're going to take. But all that aside, if we have free will and we're given free will and the ability to choose and the right to do so, to turn around and then violate that free will or violate the entailments of that free will by punishing us for making a decision and doing it honestly with critical thinking and logic and using the things that God gave us, and then we come to this conclusion that God doesn't like then punishing us for that, and then choosing not to provide better information, better evidence, better reasoning so that we could get to it logically and reasonably, that is an evil God. This is why it's problematic. It only pushes the argument back to deism. That's the issue. It pushes it back to deism. So the Christian God in itself, by virtue of by virtue of the logical entailments of its properties, this thing cannot exist. Just like a square circle can't exist, like a one-ended stick can't exist, like a married bachelor can't exist. It's a logical contradiction. It cannot be both omniscient and omnipotent at the same time. Omnipresence and omnibenevolence only further add to that problem. So it just keeps going on and on and on. When you define a thing in a logically contradictory way, it cannot exist. And we know it can't exist because the laws of logic are affirmed by their negation. That means if they weren't true, we know they're true because they can't not be true. Especially when we're talking about things existing. So God either exists or it does not. If it exists, then it has particular attributes. If it does not exist, then we don't have to worry about it. But then if it exists, we have to look at what the attributes are. And then we go on further and further and further. The more attributes you add to it, the more problematic it becomes, which is why the only rational place you can end with any form of reasonability is deism. Just deism. The sufficiently powerful enough entity that kicked the football in the universe, then fucked off and left no evidence of its existence and doesn't interact with us. Deism. That's it. You can get there and you can't knock that down because we don't know. But as far as like Christianity goes, no, that's a cult. That's a cult that's turned deism into a weapon that it can use against the public through fear, manipulation, and all emotional manipulation, psychological manipulation to get money and power and influence. And, it's the modern day, it's contemporary. They no longer have to use the tip of the sword like the Crusades. Now they can just behave whatever they want to behave and just go after the rich, go after the needy, go after the poor, go after the emotionally desperate, go after the psychologically vulnerable, convert these people, get them under because it's strength in numbers. Fred Knott says, the HIPAA applies specifically to releasing medical records of something performed or directed or detected. The law breaking, even if dumb, can be reported. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Jagar says, it's hard for many Christians to reconcile science and faith. Seems simple to me. If God is creator and love, he created scientists, evolution exists, the world is old, seems a waste of time. And it really is. They're not mutually exclusive. You're correct on that. They are not mutually exclusive. I let the chat go by on that little rant of mine. Jagar says, on my worst days, I'm a blip on the radar screen. I struggle through life to become worm food. On best days, hope there is a heaven. If not, I lost nothing, still worm food. That's true. But it's also empowering because it allows you to determine your purpose for you instead of having your purpose handed to you from an external agent that refuses to show itself. That's the whole point. You can choose your purpose and your path. Your path is not chosen for you. No one can choose your path but you. And if it's already set out for you, then why? Because then you don't get to choose your own life. You're being coerced under duress, threat of hell, into making your life in someone else's image. Fuck that. That right there is taking away your autonomy, your ability to live your life. Why was your life given to you if it wasn't meant to be lived by you? Hey, Gina S., good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Self-flagellation and incel mask. Zachariah, my God has a bigger duck than Otanzo's God. I think I get that. Yeah. Tim Boldman's in the house. Good to see you, Tim Boldman. Says, JL, read the Pew Research study on USA religious landscape. We now have hard numbers of funding evangelicals who believe the talking snake floodwaters covering Mount Everest and the flying zombie God. Yeah, that's true. This is very true. Despite the fact that overall religion is dropping. Theism is dropping for more favorably towards deism and atheism. So, but the theism, but like I said, when the most extreme feel that they're losing ground, they will become more extreme, more vocal. This is how we get things like the new IBF Baptist movement, where they feel that the church, like the Baptist church, is too tame, and that they're allowing all of this sin. Now we have to be more extreme and be into like people like Steven Anderson and the other D-bags that are in there. So they're screaming, that they're advocating for mass death camps for LGBTQ. This is people in the faith. They stand up and count themselves as Christian. And nobody rebukes them. Last I checked, it was what was it? Proverbs 27:6? 27:5 through 6? Yeah. I'll make sure, because there's a bunch on them like this. Oh, no, 1 Timothy 5:20. That's right, 1 Timothy 5:20. 1 Timothy 5:20 legit says, rebuke these people. You know? You've got to. Or Psalm 119:21, you rebuke the insolent, accursed ones who wander from your commandments, depending upon what version you want to read. So there's no rebuking going on, which is why they keep doing it. You think if the whole of Christianity turned on these people, ostracized them, excommunicated them, cut them out, and said, they were just fringe groups. What the hell do you think happened to Westboro Baptist Church? Eventually, the whole of Christianity turned their back on Westboro, and now they are nobody. But now we've got an entirely new brand of it. We got the new IBF, because unfortunately, it's like whack-a-mole. You get one, another one pops up. This is the price. This is the vigilance, the price we pay for our freedoms. That's why it's difficult. Jacob says, I'm not a fan of being ridiculed for my faith. Reason now, I don't speak of it usually. I certainly don't belittle non-believers. Okay, so that's, hey, me, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you. I appreciate you getting that email. I'm glad I got that over to you. Thank you very much. And a member of the Godless Army. Thank you very much, me. I appreciate that. And actually, that's something we can chat about here in a moment, because I'm curious about this, because that's a major issue. But to sum this one up. So, J-Car, I always try to make it very, very clear that my channel is not about attacking believers. My channel is about attacking irrationality and the irrational thinking and the irrational behaviors that typically follow. When people believe in irrational things, it will typically drive them to irrational behaviors to defend and justify those beliefs. Extremist behavior is a result of extremist beliefs. If you believe that your God represents a particular thing, if you believe that your God is directing you to do things, then these things, no matter what these beings are, going all the way back to Abraham and Isaac. An extremist belief would be that your God could have the potential to tell you to murder your own son. That's an extremist belief. And the fact that he almost did it right until God stayed his hand, if you go by the Bible, then like, oh, wait, no, I just wanted to see if you would really do it. God would already know, because God is omniscient. God knows everything. God knows all true propositions. The true proposition was that Abraham was not going to kill Isaac. So God did that for his jollies? This is irrational thinking. This leads to irrational beliefs. Right now we have scores of people out there, hundreds of thousands of people out there that firmly believe that murder is okay, genocide is all right, mass murder is okay, if they believe in their heart that God tells them to do it. That's the truth of the matter. You have an extremist preacher over there in Tennessee who literally hosted a book burning. I don't know what to say on this. This is what I go after, but I do not attack just straight up believers. You can believe and have the right and the freedom to believe whatever you want to believe. You have that right. I will fight for your right to defend. I will fight for your right to believe what you want to believe, because I do not want to live in a country where people are told what they should believe by anybody. Believe what you want, but understand that there will be pushback when those beliefs result in irrational behaviors that attempt to control the lives of other people. That is what I focus on. And I know I can be really, really didactic. I can be loud on this. But here we are. Here we stand. And all of us, I can tell you, the majority of us in the atheist community have been telling y'all, the silent majority of Christianity, this is where it's heading. This is what we're afraid of. And y'all are like, no, God is good. God is, God does this. You're like, blah, blah. And here we stand. A young woman is currently in prison right now because she attempted to self-induce an abortion because it was the only option she had, because she has no money. She has no access to resources. The state of Texas has taken away her right to do this. And now she sits in jail on a $500,000 bond for having an abortion. This is not acceptable. This cannot continue. We are at a breaking point where people are being locked up because they have no options. I don't know how further to say it. I don't know how. I don't know another way to say that. But people are being a person has been imprisoned for an abortion. That is wrong. That is a curtailing of bodily autonomy. That is a curtailing of civil liberties. Her civil rights have been violated, but the state of Texas has deemed it is okay to do this. Ooh, sorry about that. I saw what Aaron said in there. To be fair, jail is loud and opinion about most things. This is true. Nimrod, thank you so much for the 20 secs. I'll always be happy to take some secs. Is on pain of death. Do not read this. Oh no, I should have read it first. Oh well, that's my burden to bear. I apologize about that. But I appreciate it. At least I got a little sex before the death. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And yes, yes, Mr. E-Man, thank you. JCAR's religion is very important, and JCAR can believe whatever they want to believe, and I have no problem with that. Be a Christian, be a Buddhist, be a Hindu, be a Muslim, be a Jew, be an atheist, be a deist. I don't care. The criticism about the bad behavior of others, and that the fact that this is a majority of people, and the vast majority, and the majority of Christianity is made to look bad by this. This extremism is just like Muslim. Okay, you hear Muslims. The vast majority of Muslims do not believe in the extremist behavior of some Muslim actors, and they request they are vocal about it. Don't judge Islam based on the actions of these extremists because they do not represent the faith. You don't see that happening in Christianity, not at the vocal level that the Muslims are doing it. Why the disparity? Get out there and fight. Otherwise, it makes it all look bad. Zachariah Huber says, if I buy a Buddy Jesus figure, will I be saved? I need to get one of those. I really do. You know, all the years I've known it since I love Dogma. Dogma came out in the year 2000. And I love that movie. It came out 22 years ago, and I still don't have a Buddy Jesus, never owned a Buddy Jesus statue. I need to find one. I really do. You'd think I'd have one, you know, because it's so brilliantly mocking of the Catholic Church. Oh man. Ooh, sorry about that. I got a little didactic there. Woo. So Steaming Cup for Reasons has got to go, folks. Be back to rebuilding my files. Try to be back soon. Absolutely, Steaming. Thank you so much for hanging out. Apologies if I got a little didactic there. It freaks me out. It's scary. It says this the United States of America? Raven Darkstar says this the United States of America or ancient Rome? Well, we are a republic, but we know what happened to them. So, and Nimrod, her psychological state must be in such a horrible place. You imagine the psychology, the psychological state after having when abortion was legal. That's not like a simple thing. Women just go, oh, time to have an abortion, and then I'm out. No, absolutely not. It's invasive. It's invasive. It's emotionally traumatizing, and they usually require that you have a support structure when you go and deal with this. It's not something that it's not like going, oh, time to get my flu shot, and there we go. No, it's not like that. And then you turn around and you take this girl after this emotionally traumatizing experience that she had to put herself through, and then you stick her in jail. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes, Zachariah Hooper. Texas failed the constitutional separation of church and state. It absolutely did. Colorado Biker, let's have our own book burning. Let's go out and start a bonfire of old VeggieTales VHS cassettes or Bible Man. Now, I apologize if I got a little loud and opinionated there. I mean, it's my position, and you know, I don't know, but if it was a little extreme there, I do apologize. So, but you know, that's right, Gina S. If men had the ability to get pregnant, there would be no abortion debate. Absolutely. You are correct. Colorado Biker says, I got my Buddy Christ years ago sitting on my bookshelf. Good luck getting one. Saw them on eBay for about $150. Damn. How much does a Buddy Christ cost nowadays? Let me see. Buddy Christ. Statue? Yeah. Buddy Christ. Figure? Let me see here. Looks like I could get one from... No, that looks cheap. That looks like a cheap knockoff. Oh, one that looks good. Let me see. Is this a good looking one? Oh, that one is pretty good. Buddy Christ dashboard statue. Jesus died for your sins, but he's still your buddy. I love it. Pixelatoy. Pixelatoy? Pixelatoy. That's a good one. Yes, Buddy Christ, Jan Silent Bob. Looks like looks like it's not too bad. 23 pounds. Or no, maybe euro. No, it's euros. 23 euros. International shipping. I could get that. Huh. Looks like there's some toy stores around. I could probably get them. I have to do a little bit more research. Oh, it also depends upon the size I want to get. No, just a little one would be just fine. Oh, just a little guy. But I do need to get one. It's been a long time since I've had one. I have, I can't remember where it is. I have my old nail Zippo from I think it was also from Dogma. Yeah, I think that was from Dogma. I have my nails brand cigarettes Zippo lying around here somewhere since I gave up cigarettes in favor of the vape. So Martin says, no, you're right to get steamed up about a bridge the divide. We all know what nightmares religious fundamentalism has caused in the past. Absolutely. Jay Carr, you says, y'all have a blessed evening. Great food for thought. Abortions you don't get over. She needs saving. I will attempt to shut up the crazies. My new civil rights fight again. Have a good one, Jay Carr, if you're having to bounce out. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I do appreciate it. Thank you for, dealing with me when I get a little bit big on it. But I do appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. If you ever want to engage in a conversation, just shoot me a message. The details are in the description. Paul's heart attack support is in the chat. It's considering that religion persecuted anyone who doesn't agree with it. Shouldn't religion be labeled as a hate group? I think that some are, or at least some factions of them are. I would say some denominations or some splinter denominations are labeled as hate groups. The Westboro Baptist Church was labeled as a hate group, and there are a number of other ones. There's that one up in Philadelphia, the Key something. It was like the second video I ever did. It was a hate pastor up in Philadelphia. His group has been labeled a hate group. So is the new IBF. The new IBF has been labeled a hate group as well. I appreciate that, Jay Carr. I'm passionate. Nothing wrong with that. I do appreciate that. See, an original view askew, Buddy Christ. I'm kind of curious about that. View askew, Buddy Christ. Diamond. Okay, one sec. Okay, those aren't absolute. No, that's from Diamond Select. Buddy Christ dashboard figure as seen in Dogma. That's wait. Wait. It has the View Askew logo on the box. Who's your buddy? I think that's it. $75. That's doable. I could totally do that. I will add to my watch list. I see that. Very cool. That's not too bad. That's totally doable. That'd be kind of cool. Should I add like a Buddy Christ up there in the back? I think it'd be funny. Somewhere just kind of like right at like the corner, be like, hey, what's that? I like adding people's things to here. Yeah, Colorado Biker says the Southern Poverty Law Center has more than 100 churches listed as hate groups already. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Nimrod. Nimrod's got to be somewhere else. I appreciate it. Thank you for another good stream. I thank you very much. So, but yeah, that was the first big thing that I wanted to chat about was the situation that's brewing down in Texas. Now, I don't know how this thing is going to play out. I don't know how it's going to play out in the court. I don't know if they're going to just revoke, it's basically drop charges and let her go, because technically under their current laws, women cannot be held accountable. Women are excluded from being held accountable for having an abortion. So if she had one and she self-induced it and she put her own life at risk and wound up miscarrying, that's different because she may still be protected under federal law. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to play. Just like the state of Texas really doesn't know what they're going to do. They're trying to figure out how they can get through this. The pushback on this is going to be insane, obviously from advocate groups down in Texas. And of course, the ACLU is going to get involved in this. It's going to turn into something rather large. So I don't know where it's going to spin out, but I will definitely keep my ear to the ground so I can hear about this one. And I that's why I invited Johnny on. I know he's busy at the moment. He's editing, but I wanted Johnny to come on because he lives in Texas and he lives under these policies. And I kind of wanted to get his opinion on this stuff. The other thing, and I don't know if she's still in, was Megan popped in, and I appreciate you popping in, Megan. I know you were on the stream. You were on Dr. Dave's stream. And I don't know what the result of that is. I don't know what the incoming legal shit show in Texas. I know that all of you are burned out on the Dr. Dave situation. I know you all are. This division amongst the community. I mean, heck, that was my video. The video that I dropped about this, the little short response I had. I am sick of it as well. I am sick and tired of people within the community on the same side causing division for shits and giggles, causing division for clicks, and pointing at whatever, taking advantage or kicking people when they're down. I'm tired of it. I really am sick of it. Oh, apparently Aaron says she was bonded out about plus or minus 3 hours ago. That's good. That's excellent. So around 6 p.m. That's fantastic. That's very good. All right. So, Aaron Reese says put him in Jason's hand. And Aaron Reese is also a member of the Godless Army. Appreciate that, Aaron Reese. You rock. So, I don't know if Megan is still in the chat, but Bridges Divide. If I had not seen your gnarly face and naked chest at the same time, I might think circus lady. LOL. Your empathy is appreciated. I'm not sure what. I know I did take my shirt off one time in one stream because I was dared to, and I'll always. Well, no, that was for super chats to get Johnny to something because Johnny was trying to get to some deal or whatever. I have no idea. Might think circus lady. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's a reference to, Gina. PhD Tony's in the house. Good to see you, PhD Tony. Thank you so much for being here, bud. Yeah, Colorado is typical YouTube creator drama. Nothing new there. Been going on for over a decade. Agreed. And yes, Tina, you are correct. Bonded out or not, it still happened. I'm just glad she's no longer in a cell. That's one step in the right direction. So, and I know that given all of the crap, people are burnt out on the Dr. Dave thing. But I popped over to Dave's stream because he was live, because he goes live for hours at a time, and pointed out yes, Aaron Reese started the whole take your shirt off bidding and doesn't regret his actions. Not at all. I know what I look like. I'm comfortable with it, but I got people who love me. I like me. So I popped over there because the name of my channel, the name of Bridge the Divide, popped up, was sent to me by Brainy Beaver, who made me aware of this website. And one sec, this fanclub.com forum threads, Dr. Dave hater troll channels set up. And this thing was, I'm going to go to it. We briefly talked about it last night over on Johnny's channel, but I can share this. Let me see, share screen, and this is it. So this is what it was. And looking at this, so that's lots, they indicate there's lots of profanity on them. So what is Dr. Dave hater troll. This is a list of Dr. Dave hater troll channels and the links to our channels, and then more coming. This is a good start. So this was put up by S. Saul Good. And if you've ever seen a Dr. Dave stream, you know that S. Saul is typically the one that has that the camera is centered on the whiteboard that has like the fanclub.com/forum link on there. So this person put up a post asking for that these are the ones to complain about. Essentially calling attention to us for the content that we've made or whatever. Now I did that 1 minute video, and this is the result of that. Now I don't know, and I don't know if Megan is still in the stream. I don't know if she's still here. I think she is. This is what I was trying to get to him, because I don't know if Dave is aware of this. I don't know if I don't know if the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. And this is something that is regarded as a violation of TOS, even if it's off platform, because the followers of this can mass report these links, can go to these links and mass report these channels for being critical of Dr. Dave. That being a violation of TOS, all it takes is a report of this action to YouTube. YouTube can investigate, and Dr. Dave can lose his channel. So if Dr. Dave is not aware of the situation, he needs to be aware of this because that's going on. Putting up the links to our channels in a deal called hater and troll channels. What do you expect will happen? So, and I know you, I don't know if I'm pretty sure you had nothing to do with this. I don't even know if you knew about it. Dr. Dave claimed ignorance when I brought this up. So maybe he didn't know about it, but Emmy, Megan, now you are aware of it. And this is, to better explain this thing. This is essentially what this website is. It's the fan club forum for Dr. Dave's channel. And this is what S. All Good has put up. So, and the reason for this is because I made one critical thing and mass reporting, and so whatever, before whatever reason, mass reporting is what the people do that we speak against. It's not what we do. Telling other people that they do not have a right to have the opinions that they have. Come on. You see how this doesn't suss out. So that's why I brought it up. I tried to do it politely and be like, "Hey, this is what it is," and everybody was like, "Oh, I have no idea what." But you notice how Saul was really, really quiet that whole time. So I'm just saying, I wanted to bring that up. So Raven Darkshire says, if Saul did it, Dave told him to or knows about it. So that's that. I can't. You have that. This is the narrative that Dave is running off of. And I hope you understand, Megan, that this is what's happening there. Now, I don't know if you were aware of it, but this can't continue. And I wanted to be cool about it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, I'm going to give him the opportunity to make sure that it gets taken down so that he doesn't lose his own channel. It's not about trying to deprive people of their channels or get people shut down and taken down. The whole point is about educating individuals and bringing stuff up. So Chinez, I witnessed your big fuzzy bear striptease. I realized that you're not a sideshow bearded lady and your empathy for body rights is appreciated. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it was very full Monty of me. I wouldn't say I'm proud. Well, I don't really. I've got pecs, and I can still flex them and I can see them move and everything. So I'm happy about it. Ooh, my mams. Yeah. So yeah, this is problematic. And for a channel that aims to try to educate people about the First Amendment and push, First Amendment advocacy and, pointing out people that don't understand it and misapply it and do bad things in the name of it, turning around and doing this for Dave to do this is really problematic. So it's deeply hypocritical. Megan, if you want to chat about this, I'm more than happy to do that. To get your side of it. I don't want to assume that you knew what you knew or you knew what you didn't know. So I haven't heard your side of it or anything. But I'm curious. Not to say the least. I don't know what the response of this is. I don't know what's sussed out from this. All I know is that it's still live and people can still go there and do that. So I don't know. All I can tell you is that it puts him in a precarious position because it's violating the TOS. So that was important to point out. All right. So there was two major things I want to chat about. The craziness going on in Texas. As a matter of fact, now that we were talking about this, let's see. PhD Tony says, this is what I was saying about the larger issue. It's not restricted to anti-science activists. Antisocial behavior needs to be kept in check. This is true. I would agree. I would absolutely agree. Antisocial behavior is problematic. And Tony was right. Tony was absolutely right. Anti-science, anti-education, anti-communication. These individuals don't want different ideas being spread or different ideas, being talked about. These individuals are antisocial. And antisocial behavior should be rooted out. And the George says, I missed this week's Week in Horror, but my retroactive guess for the trivia question is Tim Curry is the sweet transsexual from sweet It was the sweet transsexual transvestite from Transylvania, but yeah, basically Dr. Frankenfurter. Unfortunately, no, that was not it. It was Dick Warlock, and I'm not lying. The answer was Dick Warlock. Aaron Colson says, just want to plug Lizelle Herrera one more time. Several legal defense funds are coordinating. Frontera Fund, which is on Twitter, has more information if anyone is interested in helping that way. Awesome. That's fantastic. That's great. Yep, Colorado Biker, Dr. Frankenfurter. I'm trying to remember. Now Rocky Horror is stuck in my head. TB says, sounds like I'll just step over here and dodge the drama. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of the drama either. The problem is that my name was brought into the drama. Sweet transvestite from Transsexual Transylvania. Thank you, Zachariah Hooper. I appreciate that. TP, absolutely. I don't want to be a part of it either. I don't. The reason I popped off what I did is because I kind of had enough, and I made my statement. That was it. Now I'm being targeted for mass reporting. So now my name is being pulled into it even further. And no. So, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. That's why I tried to just bring it up, just to me. It was like, hey, he happens to be live. I don't know if he'll respond to it, but I want to ask him about it, see if he knows about it. If he knows about it, then something needs to be done about it. Because this societal division is going to wreck the community. We don't need it anymore. So yes, Megan, you are correct. The drama is annoying. The drama is super annoying, and I don't want to be a part of it. That's why I got called. That's why I was like, whoa, why? I was like, why is my name involved in this? All I did was stick up for a friend who was misrepresented. I watched the video. I should have done a reply to it, but I watched the video, and it was pulled directly from his channel. And then it was sent to me, and I watched it. I was like, what the fuck? I was so incensed that I made a response to it. It was just a little 1 minute short. Oh, he's just saying it could make you mad. Wish there was a way to help the business being screwed in those areas, though. Say, if you're not a bot, is that a bot? I don't know if the Yahoo Washi thing is a. Ingenious, yeah, unsubscribed after Tello was doxxed. I never reported anything on anyone. I just don't want to watch things bother. I get that. I absolutely get that. I do. And I don't want my name pulled into this unnecessarily. I responded, not direct. I responded to a friend about a friend being called out and being misrepresented. I'm allowed to do that. This is my channel. If you don't like it, go make your own channel and make your own response. But I'm allowed to do that. He doesn't have the right to mass report me because he doesn't like what I said. That can't fly. And I don't want to go, I don't want to go nuclear on this. I don't. It's silly. It's juvenile. This is high school. I'm almost 42. We don't need to engage in this crap. It's obnoxious. Why I wanted to give him the opportunity. So felt like I was getting low there for a second. I don't think I need. I just changed out this coil. No, it's still good. Just hit me weird. But anyway, how are y'all doing? You heard me blather on about this. And two things that got my goat this week was a situation down in South Texas, and of course, this is a situation with Dr. Dave, which doesn't seem to want to die. And now that my name has been dragged into it, getting a little tired of that. So that's pretty much it. And Mr. E-Man says, I saw a video this morning about the Don't Say Gay bill where the teachers are not even referring to cisgenders in straight relationships. They're now using neutral. That was probably something that's going down in Florida. Yeah, it's absolutely, and the thing in Florida is just atrocious. It's ridiculous, Yeah, this is absolutely insane. DeSantis is the big threat. As far as politics go, 2024, people are thinking that Trump is going to run again. He's not. He's not going to run again. He's already said that he probably won't because of his health issues, but he'll entertain it long enough in order to get money from running a campaign. And at the last minute, he'll probably go, no, I'm not doing it. So then he'll just bounce and pretty much take the money and run. because he's a scam artist. That's what he does. He's always been a scam artist, and that's his MO. So let me see here. So I have this. Oh, that would be awesome, Colorado. Definitely. You know where I am. You can get me on Discord. Definitely hit me up. Richard Taylor's in the house. Good to see you, Richard Taylor. Thank you so much for being here. If I didn't say hi to you before, I do appreciate you being here. I don't know who this I'm a believer in Ha-Masha Yahawashi is. I don't know who this is. I honestly don't. Oh, he's in the chat. Okay, Dr. Dave is in my chat. That's fantastic. Dr. Dave says, hi, sweetheart. Okay, I know you're... That's true. Don't say gay. Say fabulous. That's right. As a member of the LGBTQ community, I applaud this. He says, I love him long time. No, I don't. And that is really insensitive towards Asians. So, and no, I don't. Okay. Hey, Redding, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Thank you for popping in. TP Seeker says the stuff with Gates is going to come out and DeSantis will vanish. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So, Megan, I understand that it is a movie quote. I understand that it is from the movie Platoon. I know where the line comes from. I run a film podcast. Okay? I understand what it is. I understand, Platoon was a great movie. It's fantastically done. But the line itself was put in there specifically so that Stanley Kubrick could demonstrate essentially the American viewpoint of the war through the eyes of Joker and his fellow soldiers. That line was specifically designed like that to basically say that this is the way Americans see it. Okay, everything about that movie has its intention. Okay, and Full Metal Jacket. My bad, Full Metal Jacket. I screwed it up. The Full Metal Jacket, but the intention of that line is important. Stanley Kubrick had a very, very specific reason for keeping that line in there, despite the fact that it was incredibly derogatory to the broken English that Asians spoke. Okay, it is derogatory towards people who speak broken English. Okay, and him saying that calls back to that. He may be using it trying to be funny, but he doesn't understand the implications of him using that. That's the point. And neither, Dr. Dave, I'm neither a devil nor a demon because they don't exist. So that's it. And yeah, Aaron Reese is right. If being a quote in a movie makes something okay, then Birth of a Nation opens up the racist floodgates. Oh, it's in a movie. No, it's not. It's a chance to use something to an effect because you think it's funny and you know what effect it has, and then you can pull off. Well, it's just a quote in a movie. No, it's not. So nonetheless, and yes, Chris Durham, have you heard of movies? Very cool things. Just look into them. You might find something you like. I found a few that I kind of like. So Dr. Dave, the point was this. You're allowed to say what you want to say. You can say whatever you want on your channel. I don't care. The problem is that your friend, whether you're aware of it or not, brought my name onto your website, the Dr. Dave Hater Troll channels over off the fan club thing, and put my channel's name on there for mass reporting. Okay? Megan, I'm saying that it implies he's racist because it was put in there for that intention to expose that is how Americans were viewing the Asians at the time during the Vietnam War. I don't care if he's doing it because he thinks it's funny. There are implications, there are logical entailments to that. And he doesn't get to get away with it. Like, I'm old and infirm. He doesn't get to get away with that. And it's not that people are too sensitive. It's fucking racist. Sorry, I lost track of where the chat was. Okay, so even if he just found out about it, he didn't find out about it when he entered into my live chat and then he said it. It means he found out about it before it and he still did it. So, Dave, like I stated, your friend put my channel's name on a website calling for mass reporting. I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know if you asked him to do it. I have sent the link to Megan. I sent the link to you. And I want you to take that down because it is a violation of terms of service, because you can violate terms of service. You can violate terms of service off platform. That is what this is an off platform terms of service violation, and you can lose your channel again. So I was giving you the opportunity to take care of it yourself. That's it. That's the point. What I have in my background is none of your concern. He's got to be drunk. I don't even know. It's like, well, at least he knows who the figure is in the back. I don't know what he's talking about in this respect. I really don't. That's not. Yeah. Exactly. Refusing to communicate, to effectively communicate. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's weird. I don't want to be pulled into his bullshit. I don't want to be pulled into his bullshit. Megan, I don't know if you were in the chat, but Megan, if you are in the chat, I don't know if this is Dr. Dave. Maybe it is. Maybe it's somebody who's responding for him because he just referred to himself in the third person. So, Megan, there's no bigger picture. I don't want my channel's name being mass reported for expressing my opinion. I don't want that. And this is coming from somebody who is ostensibly on the same side of issues that I am. It's ridiculous. And I was cool about it in the chat. And then he wants to come over here to my live my live chat and stir shit up. Come on, Megan, you're not leaving me with a lot of resources here. Agreed, PhD Tony. It is the laziest and most intellectually dishonest approach common to all antisocial mindsets. Ms. Tina says, I'm still waiting for someone to dress up as Jason, just stand still for a while, then unexpectedly jump on JL. That would be hilarious. That would be funny. Hey, K Far, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks for popping in. Yes, whoever this person, Megan, whoever this person is, see, this is what's weird, is I don't know if Megan is reading the messages or hearing what I'm saying. Megan, whoever this person is who is typing as Dr. Dave is stirring shit up. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I miss talking with my friend at length. And getting somebody's opinion here would be fantastic. Bam. And you're right, Colorado, I should stop feeding the trolls. I do. I should stop feeding the trolls. Yes, Megan. Okay, fantastic. He is stirring stuff up. You realize he's stirring stuff up. Seriously? I don't think that's really him. I don't. Megan, you have missed the point completely. It's not about trolling. It's not about him getting under my skin. It's not about having a thicker skin. He has my channel name attached to a hate list for no reason. And I don't want it there. And everybody, please welcome to the stream, PhD Tony.
Greetings. How are you doing, JL?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Other than, the crap that's going on in Texas right now, that shit with the I don't know if you heard when we were talking about that, the girl who was arrested for inducing an abortion on herself.
No, I hadn't heard anything about that, but it is extremely troubling, but
Right.
It's almost inevitable in this sense. The conservative / Christian mindset is that abortion is murder, and they don't accept any alternative interpretation. So they're going to push this conflict. They literally cannot tolerate the other side being right. And the reverse is true. So there's no room for compromise in these, and it's going to get more and more heated and more direct confrontation as time passes. So, unfortunately, the respect for other people's belief systems needs to be somehow communicated to people, and this is something that actually, this is something that Dr. Dave, even in his reduced intellectual capacity at the moment, needs to take into account. It is okay for other people to express their opinions, and if you're going to resolve a difficulty, as there seems to be, right? There seems to be. I'm unaware of what Dr. Dave said because I don't watch his channel. I don't listen to anything he said. This is the first time I've seen any of Dr. Dave's content, and I have to say that he's making an extremely bad impression on me. He seems incapable of making any intellectually worthwhile conversations, just seems to be attention seeking and trying to disrupt the conversation. The only way we're going to resolve difficulties like this is by having honest and open communications. And Dr. Dave doesn't, in this mindset, doesn't seem like somebody who is even capable of that, let alone inclined to do it. So that's it's disappointing that, but it is a truism that people of this sort are on our side as well as the other side.
Great. Let's see. Anna George said he has a much larger channel in the means and motive to mass report smaller channels, and JL is on ineffective enemies list. And is asking Megan, how can you say that JL is overreacting? And I'm irate about it. I absolutely am. But Megan, and I've never had a problem. I've never had an issue with you, Megan, but this is what's going on. Okay. And if you have any kind of voice here, then you need to be aware of it. And I don't know how you can support it, but in this respect, this was only my intention. My intention was that my channel's name has appeared on this thing because in the opinion that I expressed on my channel, which I am free to do, if I violated 2.8 TOS in some way, then YouTube would have shut me down, but I did not. And now all of a sudden, I am branded an enemy of this particular channel when I don't care about Dr. Dave. Nature will take its course in due time. I'm not worried about it, but I don't want people to have the wrong idea about what my channel represents and what I'm trying to do. That's the point. I'm trying to do positive work here. I'm trying to have an effect in my community, and I'm working towards activism, and I'm spreading a message of activism that keeps civil liberties alive. And by mass reporting me, you harm that effort. So I don't want to be. I don't want to be. The drama hurts us all, but there's got to be a line drawn at some point.
There does have to be. And I would ask Dr. Dave to look at himself and ask himself if he's sober enough and mentally competent enough to be doing what he's doing. Because like I say, this is the first time I've ever encountered him. This is the first time I've ever seen anything by him. And he just seems poisonous. And I would strongly, based on this interaction, I would strongly, advise people not to follow him and not to listen to him. So it's a, it's a, it just seems like bizarre behavior. He's now asking to join.
Kfar says, would like to say, hi, PhD Tony, big fan.
Oh, well, thank you, Kfar.
So you do have some fans in there.
I do have some fans.
Oh, and Aaron Colson, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Aaron Colson is a new member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate that, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining. And now you can enjoy the channel badge, which is the evolving mind or expanding mind meme. I put those for as long as you are. And, of course, all of the very cool emojis that I have made for you, all the custom emojis that I've made. Please enjoy the new Greg Locke emoji. It's one of my favorites. And I made it in response to the book burning. Have you seen it, Tony?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen the new Greg Locke emoji? Are you looking at the YouTube deal, or are you looking at stream?
I am looking at YouTube. So is that the one that Cindy Sue has, for instance?
Yes. Let me see here.
And Aaron Reese.
Yeah. So show him the Greg Locke emoji, so he can see that, because I'm looking at the StreamYard right now. But I absolutely. Okay. Oh, he wants a link. Thank you, Aaron. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And
that is an absolutely idiotic thing to say, Dr. Dave. Send me a link or stop talking about me. You're in the chat. So why would he stop talking about you? In fact, by participating in the chat, you've guaranteed that he's going to talk about you more. It is utterly self-defeating. There is no logic to that. And I have to say, are you sober? You haven't answered that. That's a nice emoji.
I love that emoji. I'm so proud of it. Now, originally, it was a lot bigger, and you could definitely make out what's behind Greg way easier. And then Johnny was like, you may want to just shrink that down a little bit. So I was like, I think you might be right. But I think it gets the message across. It's a book burning piece of crap.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, yeah.
It's Neil deGrasse Tyson calling for advice.
It's not.
You and Neil deGrasse. you, Neil deGrasse, and Lawrence Krauss need to be on a panel.
No, I'm not sure that they'd demean themselves to associate with one such as that.
That would be such an amazing. We need to get like all the doctors. You, Neil deGrasse, Lawrence Krauss. We need to get Clive Wells. We need to get Professor. What's the
Phil Bell.
Phil Bell. We need to get all. Yeah, that would be so much more fun. That would be hella fun. Okay, like you can reply all you want, Dave. You're in the live chat. Reply all you like. Okay.
Okay, so if you're sober, Dr. Dave, then you don't actually have any excuse for the way that you've been behaving. You were given an opportunity to say stuff to de-escalate this situation in the chat, and instead you chose to engage in flippant and diversionary tactics and not treat the exchange with any sort of seriousness. And now you're angry and throwing a hissy fit because you're not being allowed to come on and express yourself. Well, you haven't said anything. You haven't said a single worthwhile thing in the chat at all. So you haven't proven that you deserve to have a format. This is JL's channel. He gets to decide. Whether or not you get on the channel. I don't care whether or not I impress you, Dr. Dave. Frankly, you seem like a fucking idiot. I work at a university. I model satellite orbits by day. That's my day job. I sufficiently impress my university and the journals that I submit to that I actually don't give a rat's ass about what an idiot like you thinks, because you haven't said anything intellectually valuable. You haven't said anything that contributes. If you're out of here, good riddance to you. Just frankly, you've just been a fucking infant since you came in. You refused to say anything worthwhile. You've refused to resolve the situation, and you just seem to be here to aggravate and get attention. And you're unhappy because you're not being brought on stream to get even more attention. So go home. Good for you.
Chris Durham brings up, if you let Dr. Dave join, put a long enough delay on to make sure he doesn't sabotage your channel somehow. I can't trust that he wouldn't do that, and I'm very wary about the people that I bring up on my channel nowadays, just because I've had some people, it's been nothing that would get me shut down or get my stream cut, but I've had people come up and act a fool, and I've had to mute them and pull them out of the deal, and I don't want to risk that. Johnny had to do it one time, when someone got a hold of the link and joined and then put porn up on the screen. So, and I can't even trust that that's actually Dr. Dave who's typing, because I don't know. And it's not like he's got my email address. He could have emailed me. He hasn't done that. Okay. And why? I don't trust it. He can sit here and he can type in the thing. So I don't care in that respect. I don't, like I said before, hey, Secular Pagan Mom, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And the whole point was not to create more drama. The point is to end the drama. I don't want to be involved in it by putting my channel's name up on a website entitled The Hate List or Haters, because I don't hate on his channel. I did one 1-minute response in defense of a friend because a friend was misrepresented in the video. I didn't even do an official response to the video. I just did a call out. That was my opinion, and it was a short. And that's enough to get me put on a freaking hate list. And no, that's the problem, which he doesn't seem to get. I want to end the drama by having him take my name off that list. Take Irish's name off that list. Take Artie's name off that list. Behave in a manner that accords with his age. That's it. That's all I want.
Yeah, this is fairly simple.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Tony. 1 sec. Secular Pagan Mom, a new member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Secular Pagan Mom. I do appreciate it. Please enjoy the channel badge, which is the expanding mind emoji, the longer you're with me, and then, of course, all of the cool emojis that I've made for you, including the brand new Greg Locke emoji, which I'm very proud of. Continue, Tony. Apologize.
Okay, so Megan is saying that she just brought the list up to him, that they looked at it together and he had no idea. Okay, well, I'll accept Megan. I don't actually know Megan. I have seen me in several chats, but I don't think we've got a relationship. I have no reason to doubt Megan's word at all. So
me either. Yeah.
Ignore her sincerity, nor her goodwill. It is nice that Megan is making steps to make Dr. Dave understand the situation, and hopefully it can be resolved. That's what we wanted. But it is worth noting that when Dave was in the chat, he didn't take any interest in what the conversation was about. He didn't respond to direct questions. He didn't respond to points that were raised. And the way that he comported himself was very disappointing and in no way constructive. And I was making this point yesterday, but it's what antisocial people do. They refuse to communicate, they refuse to cooperate, and they refuse to extend trust. Now, Dr. Dave's behavior here was extremely obnoxious, not to put too fine a point on it. And if he were genuinely here to sort of try and resolve the situation, he'd have behaved very differently, or at least I would behave very differently if I were in that situation. If somebody gets angry with me, I generally want to understand why they're getting angry with me. And I want to, if I've done something wrong, because you may have noticed that I am actually quite direct in the way I phrase things, in the way I address things, and I can say things that are insensitive, I can say things that are hurtful, and I may not be aware of the impact of what I'm saying on the person that I'm addressing my utterances to. So if that happens, I want to be cautious. I want to be careful and considerate about the people around me, and I want to understand why this is happening. But that was not the way Dave behaved, and it didn't favorably impress me. For a first impression, Dave kind of botched it, really. And he might like to consider whether or not he really wants to go around acting like that and whether or not it's in his channel's best interests, because to me, he kind of pulled his pants down a little bit. On the other hand, I yell at flat earthers and call them all sorts of horrible names. So I'm hardly, a saint by any stretch of the imagination. But that's beside the point.
K-Far says, all right, everybody, I'm off. I have to go make videos. This is the first room I've caught yours. Good stuff. Thank you, K-Far. It was a pleasure having you. You're always welcome to come and hang out on a live stream. I hope you enjoy my channel content. But thank you for hanging out. It's great to have you. And then, of course, Violet Wings brings up an excellent point that we talked about last night. So if people don't act the way you would act, then it's wrong. And that's the problem here, is that it very much comes off, the way the behavior comes off. What it's telling us is that anybody who has an opinion that's different from his, he believes that they are not entitled to that opinion, regardless of the reasoning behind it. Is that he can say whatever he wants, and if anybody says something that countermands it or points something out, then all of a sudden they're in the wrong. And it's not. It's literally being held accountable, whether he likes it or not.
One of the ways of resolving moral conundrum, moral puzzles, is what would the world be like? What would society be like if everybody acted this way? And that is, I think, a very insightful way. If everybody did this, would society continue to function? Would it fall apart? That's that I think is a very good way of looking at things. I find it very helpful, and so it is one of the ways that I look at things. Am I behaving in a way that that is antisocial, or is the person I'm observing behaving in a way that I think is antisocial? And to some extent, I'm suggesting that yes, I think Dr. Dave's behavior was below par, was antisocial, and part of that is because he didn't sort of try and directly communicate. No, Megan, I don't think that we failed to communicate. I don't think that we short-circuited communication. Isn't that what you're doing? No. We are communicating. Well, what I feel I'm communicating is why I think, why I believe that the way Dr. Dave comported himself was below par, because I could hear JL getting extremely frustrated because he was trying to communicate with Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave wasn't responding in any sort of constructive way. And then he wanted to come on the stream where his behavior couldn't be moderated or filtered. And frankly, it was a privilege that he hadn't really earned. So, this isn't his channel. He doesn't get to make decisions, executive decisions about it. So, if he can't communicate in writing, if he can't communicate in the chat, why should he get brought on?
Yeah, and I want to say hi to Facty. I saw Facty popped up in the chat. Good to see you, Facty. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. And in response to what Megan's saying, there is not what you're doing. And like Tony said, no. The point that I was bringing up, Dr. Dave can go on his channel and say whatever he wants to say. I'm not trying to regulate the behavior on his channel. He has the right to voice his opinion, and he can do that. If he wants to call me an a-hole, he wants to call me a demon or the devil or do whatever, say whatever crap he wants to say, go for it. He has the right to do that. And I'm not trying to curtail that. What I brought up was that what he's doing. First off, I didn't know if he was aware of the list that was put up on the fan club site for his channel. I didn't know if he was aware of that. And if he was, that's problematic in and of itself. But apparently, according to you, he was not aware of that. That action, what Saul has done, this post that he's put up here, is a violation of the TOS. It's a violation of off-platform terms of service in regards to calling for people to be mass reported. That violates YouTube's terms of service, and that can get Dave's channel shut down. I don't want Dave's channel shut down. Dave is allowed to have his channel and comport himself however he wants to on his channel. Okay? But if he has somebody that he is unaware of running around doing things in his name that could get him shut down, he needs to be aware of that. And also, he's obviously, and neither is Saul, aware of the work that I do on my channel. And actually, you would be. Yeah, you would be. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I have your, because this will make things a lot easier in trying to go response to that. Absolutely. And give me two seconds. And boom, bam. You're more than welcome. You're absolutely welcome. So, but yeah, the whole intention is that the person that he knows who's handling this for him is engaging in a behavior that can get him shut down. And it does two things. That blade cuts two ways, because then he's obviously not aware of the work that I do on my channel and the activism that I promote on my channel and the stuff that I talk about, which goes to furthering the conversation about protecting our civil liberties and making people aware of the attacks that are being made against them from religious fundamentals and from religious fundamentalists. And if he gets me shut down by mass reporting, I can no longer do that work anymore. I have to build myself up from the ground up again. And so it does irreparable harm across the board. It could get Dave shut down. It could get me shut down. It could get Artie shut down. It could get Iris Demon shut down, who's already been happened to him once. And he's had to build from the ground up again. It does nothing, but it's literally scorched earth. And there's no reason for that. And Megan, I emailed I saw your email and I emailed the link to you.
Yeah. So I'm beginning to fade a little bit because the original surge of adrenaline has left me a little bit drained. So I'm not sure how much longer I can continue. But I might just say that Raven Darkstar says that their comment from Raven Saul are glued at the hip, which may be true. I don't know Dave and Saul. I don't know the circumstances, but and all Megan can go by is what Dave told her. So I don't have. Hello, Megan. It's a pleasure to meet you. I
think we're having trouble hearing you.
Really?
Oh, you're coming in real quiet.
I don't know why.
Okay, can you handle anything on your end, JL?
Let me try this. Try it now, Megan.
Yeah, testing.
Yeah, that's better.
I have a bunch of different mic options here. Let's see.
No, that's quite good.
I turned you up in StreamYard, so I think that may help. Chat, let me know if you can hear Megan effectively, if she's coming through. I turned her up in StreamYard, so we should be able to get her pretty good.
I could talk so you guys can actually see if still can't hear me.
No, we can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah, I turned you up via StreamYard, so I can adjust your mic settings and bring you up. So I think you should be good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's not the same thing that I'm used to. So let's see. Is that better?
That's excellent.
Yeah, that is excellent. Yeah.
There we go.
Fantastic. Okay.
I don't know why it didn't default to that.
So, Meg, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you. It's a wild situation, and like you said, I agree with you on that. We don't want the drama anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The drama doesn't do Dave any service, doesn't do us any service, and all it does is seek just create division in the community. And frankly, it's division that the people that we point out can seize upon and use to their advantage.
I agree.
So, right. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if Dave was aware of it, but there are ramifications to those actions. And I just didn't want the name of my channel put out there in this context, because it's not what I'm about, and it's not what the work that my channel does. It's not the work that I do here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was Dave in the live chat. That
it was.
So that was weird.
I told him, I'm just like, it's like, you got to rise above. Like, just don't give him ammo.
Well, I mean, this was actually a notable distinction, because you were in the chat and you were making very constructive comments. You were trying to get clarification. You were trying to answer questions. You were trying to address issues.
And then he is spamming.
Yeah, and Dave came in and did none of those things. So it was a very strange interaction, because you were a textbook example of effective communication, and how adults should go about resolving a situation like this. There's some form of disagreement. Let's get more information. Let's get clarification about where both sides are. So, what you've been doing in the chat, exactly what I would expect a well-intentioned individual to do. What Dr. Dave did, very, very unusual behavior, just difficult for me to understand. He seemed hostile. He seemed unwilling to answer questions. He seemed unwilling to take the conversation seriously. He was flippant and dismissive. And as soon as I started talking about it, he was insulting. So it's very difficult for me, and this is the first time I've had any interaction with him, with either of you really whatsoever. So it was a very difficult situation for me to clearly understand.
No, and I get that. And I can't make people do any, change their ways or how they react. Like I definitely wouldn't react in certain ways. Like I'm someone who takes a breath before I speak, especially speaking in anger. So I know that he just feels like, there are those videos out there where he's been dubbed over and they're really obvious that they're fake videos. And he's kind of hurt that people are disagreeing with them before even really looking at them. And
yeah, that's got to be incredibly frustrating and upsetting.
Yeah, so he gets upset and frustrated, and then he allows that to let himself act the way he's acting and acting out. And it's just like, you got to take a step back and rise above and be someone that you can communicate with.
Yeah, because I have very limited understanding about what this controversy is all about. I don't know Dr. Dave. I've never watched any of his content. I don't, I haven't been following. I've been ill and I haven't been following sort of JL's content or Irish Demon's content. So I know, while I'm friends with JL and Irish Demon, I understand that both of them can say intemperate things and both of them can, I'm not going to assume that Dr. Dave is at any fault whatsoever. Just because they're in some sort of stoush with Irish Demon. But, in the context of somebody who is completely uninformed, I expect better behavior than that if there's a problem that needs resolving. And I can understand, you're not responsible for that at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. I want to make that totally clear. We understand that.
Yeah, yeah, and I love Irish Demon. I'm a channel member of his as well, and so it's just like I loathe this fighting going on. And then like when Irish Demon came on, I was like, oh, some of the things he said, I was like, oh, Irish Demon, this isn't looking good for you either. I'm like, damn it, both sides are annoying me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is to some extent inevitable. Like I will say things, I called a female flat earther a dozy ignorant bitch on a stream the other day. I fully think that she deserved it. But a lot of people have been telling me off for bad behavior, and I'll accept their right to sort of to have their position. So everybody sometimes says things that they might not have said in the cold hard light of formal discourse, and that can have a mental health effect. So Dr. Dave may just have been worn down by the constant barrage of attack videos that have been manufactured and so on. And that would be perfectly understandable, but he needs to take a step back from that and sort of distinguish that this isn't necessarily a format where he's under attack, where he's being attacked. That's not my role here. That's not JL's role. We're just trying to get to a point where the community can move forward. I feel.
So Aaron, one of my channel members, real quick, says that Dr. David's habit of stepping way across the line and then trying to erase that action by removing videos and then having to apologize, and it's a pattern for him. To me, it's revelatory of a deeper issue, and whatever that issue might be, I honestly, I personally don't care. Like I said, the in that history of behavior, the trans issue, the teleclient issue, the doxing issue, and the issue with Irish Demon. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community. I could have piped up at the trans issue, but then he apologized, and I was like, okay. I mean, whatever. It's all good. I don't need to comment on it.
I don't even know about that issue.
Right. So, and it's all good. I mean, so I can let that go. Then the telecline thing popped up, and I was like, but then the stream happened. It was discussed. Dave walked it back. He apologized for it. And now then of course the doxing issue gets brought up. But then the Irish Demon thing came up, and I didn't comment. I'd known about it for a couple of days until someone finally sent me because he pulled the video that he did. Like he yanked that video quick, but someone pulled it. Someone managed to rip it, and they sent it to me. And it was like, this is what he said. Because I was like, I have no idea what he said. I don't know. I didn't see the video. All I heard was Irish's response to Dave over a video that I didn't have access to.
That's what I heard too.
And then the video was sent to me, and in its entirety. And I was like, and I know Irish Demon. I've spent time with him. I consider him a very close personal friend. I know a great deal. I've never met Jen, but I know a great deal, and I've spoken with Jen. And I know Jen well enough and I know her well enough that what I heard in that video was so infuriating, as far as its misrepresentation of my friend, misrepresentation of his wife, and misrepresentation of his personal situation. And then calling me on that. That's why I responded. And I didn't even do like the fake video deal where I use this image like that. That was just me voicing my opinion in a short. I don't even know if you've seen it.
I have.
And yeah, I was incensed. I was. But that's where I was going to let it lie. Now all of a sudden my name is on this list.
And I know that Dr. Dave did not put that list up or even put Saul to it. But he took down the video because he realized it was insensitive. He crossed the line, and he did. He crossed the line. And then he did apologize to Irish Demon. And I know that on the live stream, it sounded that it was insincere. But then on another live stream, he did apologize and say that, that he was in the wrong and that he just wants to put this behind us. But it just keeps coming back up. And it's just like people won't let it go. And Irish Demon is still putting out videos and comments that he is... that supports. I won't say it on your channel. Well, no, you guys cuss on your channel, but supports Nazis and such.
We're salty as fuck on this.
Yeah. I don't want to get anyone's live stream to be, demonetized or demerited or whatever.
PhD Tony will tell you, yes, we fucking can.
Yeah, we can. I am sort of losing energy as we speak. So I've got to get this out before I take off. But I do take what you're saying there, Megan. But it sounds like there needs to be some opportunity for people to hear those apologies and accept them. And I know it can be cumbersome for somebody who has issued a sincere apology to have to go about the process of doing it again. They can feel that it's humiliating or demeaning or whatever. But if you've done something wrong, then it's on you to make it right. So, and it seems to me like Irish Demon needs to do his share of apologizing in this situation as well.
That's what it's going to take, I think.
And
them coming to the table.
Yeah, and I think that we need to get. To some point where we can get both sides to say, okay, you know what, I said some stuff that was unacceptable. I went across the line, and perhaps we need to calm down and get back over it like adults, so that we can have some sort of working relationship,
or even a non-relationship.
Yeah. You've been working towards that. I can see that in the chat and in the discussion here. Dave's approach was kind of counterproductive. And obviously you're not Dave's mum, you're not Dave's keeper, so you're not responsible for what he does. But it's going to be difficult to get to a solution if he doesn't modify his behaviour, because that was extremely unimpressive. And when there's a YouTube controversy, and I've been sort of on the periphery of a few. Basically, even if one of my friends is one of the parties, there's a 25% chance that my friend started it, a 25% chance that the other person started it, and a 50% chance that they both did something and it just got out of hand. That's the way I kind of, that's my a priori view of what the probability distribution is. Until I get more data, like I need more data to refine the probability function down. But I don't assume that my friend is innocent and the other guy is guilty. The most likely explanation is that they both sort of iterated into a position when they found themselves all of a sudden in a fight that neither of them really working to start or continue. So,
and
you kind of. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, and there's definitely shit stirrers, people that just love to create more chaos and more turmoil.
That's what I initially thought when Brandon Beaver sent me that link and to that list to make me aware of it. When he sent me that, I was kind of like, this seems like something, because it's Saul's name that's attached to it, and I was kind of like, this seems like someone just trying to stir shit up as far as like the fanclub.com forum goes. And it was like someone just like, because I mean, looking at it, and then 1 second, I want to make sure that I'm looking at it correctly. So if I go to it, go ahead.
Just here, I might actually excuse myself.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever you need to do, Tony.
Okay.
Thanks,
lovely
Tony.
to meet you, Megan.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
So, and looking at that, because it says lots of profanity too, so y'all know what to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I figured that was Saul talking, and I didn't want to make the assumption that Dave directed that to happen and that it happened without his knowledge. That opens him up to big time, to basically YouTube shutting him down again. And like I said, I don't want that to happen. I don't want Dave's channel shut down, because ultimately, when talking about frauditors and talking about soft sits and debunking that stuff, what Dave is doing is helping to educate people, and the people that he has on are helping to educate people about the nuances of the First Amendment and how these people are misapplying them, and he's spreading education. That is a good thing, because we all know that frauditors and soft sits, ultimately their actions are going to result in an impediment of rights to protect people from what they are doing. Because the more they push and the further they toe the line and the further that they cross it, because the First Amendment gives them the right to do what they're doing to an extent, but the further they push, the only result will be a retraction of rights or a limitation of rights to protect people from the harm that they inherently cause by towing that line. This is what it is. When a law is set and people constantly push at it and they show that they can do this and people get hurt, the government's only job is to pull it back and make it even more restrictive so that less people get hurt. That's just how you run it. That's how you run a government. And ultimately, what they're doing is self-defeating, because they want the First Amendment, but then they're ultimately giving the government every excuse to not have it be as broad as it is. What you guys do is works towards exposing that, and that's a good thing. And I recognize that that's what Dave is initially trying to do, and I don't want him shut down. No voices need to be eliminated from the conversation, because the more information, the better. But when he does this, especially to me or to Irish Demon or to Uncle Artie, regardless of his personal opinion, he seems to have lost the plot on this, and his personal issues or whatever's going on there. I don't want to speak to whatever the thing is, but his personal thing is getting in the way of that. And then when he comes on here and he says things he says, calls me a devil or a demon, and and insults Tony, insults me, and has no idea. He said himself he's never even looked at my channel. So this is what the problem is. And I know that I know it must feel like herding cats over there sometimes. And I don't want to saddle you. I don't expect to saddle you with all the responsibility on this. But the question is asked, like, how do you reconcile that?
No, it is a tricky thing. I went on and started being his producer right when this was all coming out, and I'm like, great. Like, God damn it! I'm like, I really like Irish Demon, and then when Irish Demon, like, what the post was about him being, or about Dr. Dave being a Nazi supporter and spewing out all this hate, like, that's simply untrue. Like, that was a fake video. And if you go to the person's channel who made those videos, you can tell that it's fake because there's all these videos that are the exact same video, the exact same length and time. And then there's different audio dubbed over it. It's really just badly done.
That's why I brought up only the transphobic incident, in which he basically said that that was okay. Like, he tried to duck responsibility for his actions there by saying that it was on a separate channel. It wasn't on his primary channel, so it was okay because it was on another channel over there.
Do you have the videos from because you said that someone sent you the one that Dr. Dave deleted about Irish Demon?
Yes,
if you could send that to me, and then I never heard about the transphobia, but I've never seen him be disrespectful towards me or to anyone in the LGBT community so far. I mean, that's just.
Well, there's that comment when he was talking. I mean, he did one of his Combat Wombat brought that up when he made disparaging marks about he made the comment that his bank or his bank account or something was hacked and money was stolen from him, and it was probably done by trans people because that's how they get the money for their gender reassignment surgeries.
Oh, I did not see that. And I really never knew who Combat Wombat was.
And I was like, I listened to that while I was driving. I was like, are you insane? It's like, I don't even know the mentality that would drive. I mean, you think of the thing. Sorry, I mean, I do. Being bisexual myself, and I understand this. If you think about the mentality behind what it takes to come to that conclusion, my bank account was hacked, money was stolen from me. It was probably a trans person because that's how they get their money for their gender reassignment surgeries. And I was like, that is so unbelievably it's not just egregiously disgusting, it's insane. But he thought that was funny as hell. And that I think that was combat. That was in that Combat Wombat coverage when So somebody just asked me via Discord. Yes, Aaron. Yes, I did see that. That's the one I'm talking about. Hey, Jay.
I'm trying to find Combat Wombat's page.
Let me see. 1 second.
There's one with 138,000 subs. Is that person?
Oh, sorry. I got so many messages via no. Who sent that to me? Where is that Combat Wombat video? Was that mailed to me?
You don't have to do it right now, but just someday I'd like to watch these.
Oh wait, I think it was.
Because I mean, I definitely find that the transgender artists have it a lot harder out there.
Right, it's difficult enough without people out there making comments like that. Oh, someone just resent. Yeah, okay. Mirror Freely, Combat Wombat response to Dr. Dave, the beer professor, and
I saw the mirror. Yeah,
that's it. It says Mirror Freely on it.
Yeah, but I haven't. I was looking for Combat Wombat's channel.
Okay, so
because I did find that. I haven't watched it yet, but I've saved it.
I recommend it. So yeah, so it was stuff like that. So I mean, and that's why I'd heard about the stuff about the white supremacy stuff, and I heard about the bad edits and trying to make it look like that. That's why it was like, this is obviously bullshit. I'm not going to bring it up. It's not a point. Only the stuff that I knew from live streams that he'd given and comments that he had made and things that he had done, and then videos he'd put out that he quickly then tried to retract by pulling the video. But quick type, quick people who are quick on the keyboard managed to snag those videos before they could disappear.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's like, given all that, I was just the biggest thing I'm curious about is, and I understand you kind of feel, if I'm getting this right, and I don't want to misrepresent you, if you kind of feel like you got the job and it's like, yes, and then you were shown The Office, and then I was like, oh no, and then you're looking at this. I don't want to put you in that position.
No, it wasn't exactly like that. It was just that's when the drama hit, because like I've watched a lot of Dr. Dave's videos before, helping. Well, it started with me just helping him out, and then it's like, all right, let's just do this for not for good. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but and then the whole thing with Irish Demon came out, and so, but real quick, I'm looking at this mirror video, and I can already tell, because I don't even have the sound up, but I can already tell that is one of those deep fakes. Because if you look at that video and how Dr. Dave's just the muscle movement in the mouth, the facial features, that's not him. It's not how he talks. And you could tell that it's been like doctored. Now, some of them, it does look like him.
Yeah,
because it's definitely him. It's definitely his studio, but just.
Well, then I'm looking at the listing where he.
Like if you go to let's timestamp 247, that part is doctored, and then timestamp like I don't even know.
Well, there's there's no lip flap on that one, and that matches up.
Well, I don't have the sound on.
The LGBTQIAA community. If you don't, I don't know what those extra letters are.
I don't either. I can't keep up.
And then he says, "I'm ashamed of those videos," and then so that was his apology. But however, later, because that was in like 2015, 2014, 2015. Then in 2018, then it follows up with his comments, and that's around the 4:30 mark. And that's not fake. That's him.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that looks.
And where he calls trans a mental disease. And I think he's talking about more than that.
Huh. Yeah, no, I just saw that part.
LGBTQ community, try and say those letters really fast. It's mind-boggling. I call it the alphabet disease.
I hear that.
It's hard to reconcile this.
Yeah. I'll have to ask him about this because, when did this come out? This is 2018. Oh, it did because there was a Muslim comment that he put out, and I asked him about it. And he's like, that was then. I've grown up a lot since then. All of that, so I'm just like, all right, because, I'm a liberal, like everyone is allowed to be themselves in my book. I don't really it's until someone's disrespectful and a piece of shit and shows me that, then I will treat them in a way I won't treat other people. Gotcha. Strangers,
absolutely,
friends. Yeah. So
we had let's say I had some other people. Skydiver Tanner's in the house. Good to see you, Skydiver Tanner. Thank you so much for being here, bud. And then I see, I saw somebody else. So Surf is in the chat as well, who put the link. Sonia Garlic is in the chat. Thank you so much, Sonia. Says hello, everyone. Hello to you. Thank you for popping in. And I waste so much time saying hi to everybody. I want everybody to be recognized on my channel. It's like, hey, everybody. I'll waste like 15 minutes saying hi to everyone. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's wild. It's difficult because like PhD Tony said, and I concur absolutely with what PhD Tony said, is that you have long been, as much as we've seen, I haven't seen a lot because I'm not subscribed to his channel. I get what people send me or when people point stuff out. And you have very much, from the little bit I've seen, tried to be the voice of reason, tried to be a kind of bridge between what's going on in the chat, what's going on with Dave, and what's going on with everybody else. And it feels very much like you feel like you're herding cats sometimes when you're live, and just kind of like, because it's coming at you from both sides. And I don't envy your position in that. And it's remarkable the work that you do in trying to just ease that, and just like me, want the drama to end, because the drama doesn't do anybody any good. All it does is harm the community in of itself by showing how fractured we are in our lines of thinking. And thank you so much, Skitch Crasher, for $2. Says hello, JL and Megan. Thank you, Skitch Crasher. Appreciate that.
See, I also don't want to tell people how they need to act, or like, I don't want to be bossing people around either. So I don't want to be like, you shouldn't do this, because I also can't stand nags.
Right.
So I don't want to be a nag, but I want to be like, maybe better if we approach this way. Like, that's how I usually will tell people what to do.
So, I mean, ultimately, I understand that I get the position that it puts you in, and I don't envy that. And I know it's difficult to reconcile, and I know that trying to find the way through it. Oh, dang, Surf! I did say since I've been here. Dang it, stop forgetting me. I didn't forget you, Surf. I love you. Another member of the Godless Army. Thank you, Surf. I know you. I appreciate you. I love Surf. Surf always a big supporter over Week in Horror as well. So, and like I said, I don't envy the position that it puts you in, and I know it's a difficult situation to try and reconcile and try to find a path through this whole thing. Personally, myself, I've got nothing more on the topic as far as what Dave is doing, unless Dave calls me out personally, which I don't think he will. But if he does, I'll be ready and waiting for that. Although I don't see why we don't even cover the same content.
Yeah.
My stuff is theism. His stuff is First Amendment stuff. So. But if he takes a swing at one of my friends, guarantee I'm gonna say something at that. But these are my opinions. I'm allowed to have them. He's allowed to have his, and that's why I don't want his channel shut down, because that's a slippery slope in and of itself. Stymieing free thought. I don't
First
want
Amendment.
that. Right. It's the whole point.
Yeah.
But I don't want him doing, like I said, but it can be a double-edged sword, and I don't want him doing as much damage to us as he's doing to the things that he's targeting. And it seems like it goes in that direction. And I was thinking someone's got to stand up and be like, okay, look, y'all. It's like,
and Kick tried.
Keeping
It Criminal? He tried. He got on there and he's just like, you guys, come on. But and I really respected what Kix had to say.
Was that on one of Dave's live streams?
That was the live stream that Irish Demon came on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of just everyone get along. I'm a pacifist and an empath. I just want people to be happy.
And yeah, Raven, so Sonia says, Megan, you seem way too nice to be caught up in Dave crap. And Megan is amazing. A supporter of many of our channels, a huge proponent of this community, and has always long been the voice of reason in a number of things. And I love what you contribute. I love what you bring to the table. It's always brilliant. And like I said, I don't envy the position that it puts you in when all of a sudden you're like, sometimes too many plates to try and juggle.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Durham swinging at Shakespeare because Tony doesn't like Shakespeare. That's funny. Hopefully we can lay lie. Hopefully that post will be taken down because it shouldn't be up. Because
and I'm gonna keep trying to reason with them on that, because I don't think any channels really should be removed unless they are hate filled, like just in the bad, like the bad hate.
Right.
But I do like your content on theism. I find the whole like religion debates just fascinating. I'm an atheist myself, so I just like kind of stand in the back and like, wow, you guys are insane. Just intense, not insane, intense. No.
The evangelical extremism is really wild. I will have to say. I'll have to agree with you. Just want to say on that note, Gina S, thank you so much for $5 freedom dollars. Says, poor Surf, forgetfulness is age related.
Oh,
wait a minute. Is that on me?
That was
calling
on
me
you,
old?
That was a burn. It's a good burn, Gina.
That's why I colored the beard, so you can't tell how old I am. Nah, but I get it. But
you colored the gray perfectly.
Well, yes, I know, right? And for anybody who was curious, the beard changes colors every month because to promote awareness of a particular issue. As each month goes by, I go with a different color. This month, it's red for Autism Acceptance Month. And I try to put those links in my videos so that if you are interested in supporting those efforts or learning more about them, you can. That's why it's red this month. Last month, I tried to do green. And next month, it will be, I have them like written down in my planner. Next month will be green again for Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, but this month, it is red for Autism Acceptance Month. So that's why I changed this.
Kind of turned pink, so I'm thinking October now.
That's where I started. That's where I started was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Was I did pink, and I have this. So now I'm in. And okay, so now I was 41 when I was 41 when I started this. No concept of manic panic, And I didn't grow. I mean, I knew people that used it. I was aware of it, never used it myself. But now I'm full in. I have a rainbow assortment in my bathroom that I can choose from. I have mixed and matched. And I also have color stripping. So I have learned how to do that now. And that apparently, and I have no sense of smell, but apparently, according to my wife, Angela, it apparently smells like nuclear waste or something.
Yeah. No, I used to be a hairstylist, and I'm glad you have the hair stripper, because it's hard to go from one color to another, especially reds.
Right.
Red stain.
I didn't realize that, because I'd put a new color in and it would just wash out. I'm like, what the heck is going on with this? It's just like, oh, you have to strip the old color. I was like, I do? So now I got to get this like nuclear, like waste smelling gel to put in my beard. And it's like there, and it gets all, and then I have to heat activate it, and it gets all hard. And I'm like, and then
it's a pain.
And then shampoo it out. It's like, oh, now it's back to the old man colors. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been coloring my hair red for over 20 years, so I feel your pain there.
So I'm 41 and I get to learn these lessons. So I finally found my inner teenage girl in dealing with colors, dealing with manic panic. I gotta go to Claire's. Was it Claire's? What was the name? What was the ear piercing place?
Claire's,
yeah, back in the day.
With the cheap jewelry they also had. Yeah, I remember. I think that's where I got my ears pierced back when I was however old I was.
We're so 90s. We're just like so 90s.
Yeah.
Technically 80s for me.
I was a product of the 80s. I was early 80s. Technically, I'm still a millennial, though. How's that? I know how to read a map.
I think the cutoff is, some people say it's like up to 79 for Gen X. And that they refer to us born in, because I was born in 80. So
I was born in 82.
Okay. So, and they consider like 79. I don't think so. I do not consider myself an elder millennial. I have seen some people say that it's 1980 is the cutoff.
That's stupid.
So,
well, it's just like, you know how the 80s style, it didn't end in 1989. Like it went into 92, 93. Still had the neon and the big hair in the 80s.
The 80s didn't, it took a minute for the 80s to go. If the 80s decide, but the 80s is still, I'm still a fan of the 80s. Still love the 80s.
Well, yeah.
So now there's some Lovecraft and Shakespeare hate, because I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, as you can probably tell by the painting that I have up there inside. I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, but apparently PhD Tony is not. So Colorado biker, I'm so old hearing all this stuff. I consider myself, and Scott Evertanner was born 80. I say I consider myself Gen X as well, like right towards the very end of Gen X.
Me too. Yeah, I definitely fit in more with Gen X than the millennials. What is the generation after millennials called?
What
people born from 2000 on?
That was generation. I think I actually looked this up. I think it's Generation Y.
And who gets to choose these names?
I actually don't know. I don't know who decides these names.
I remember looking it up. I know who came up with the original.
Let me see. This was something explained. Hang on a sec. So no. Okay, so the silent generation, the boomers, Gen X, millennials, aka Gen Y, pardon me,
and
then Gen Z, and then Alpha. So
they have an 81. So according to this, you're not a millennial.
Right. Okay, so the silent generation, 1928 to 1945. Boomers, 1946 1964. Gen X, 1965 to 1980. Millennials, 1981 to 1996. Gen Z was 97 to 2012. Although I'm old enough, I could say 12. And then Alpha, and then Alpha generation was born 2013 to 2025. Oh,
wow. Yeah, this one's just off by a little bit than what you're reading. So, I mean, everyone has an opinion. It's like, cause what's it with the zodiac signs and all that? It's a soft science.
Oh yeah, okay. I will admit, way back in the day, when I was still the believer, and I believed all kinds of woo. And I was like, I'm a Gemini, and it says so much about me, and it's part of my identity like this. And then I was so bummed out, and I was so I was kind of depressed when I found out, and this was early on. This was actually part of my deconversion story, when I found out that I really wasn't a Gemini, because science. And I was like, oh crap. So the things shift. I was like, oh, damn it. So I'm not really, because everything moves. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So.
Well, I'm a cuss baby. So some books say I'm one thing and others say I'm another. And I'm like, well, which one? So.
So this is a good opportunity. This is a rare opportunity where I get to sit down and chat with another atheist, and I always love hearing deconversion stories, like where you started, like what where you brought up in the faith, and how and your slow progression, how you got out of it. Everybody's heard mine.
I have a very strange one. It's very I don't really hear many that way. So my mom was Catholic, went through Catholic school and all that, but she did not spread that to her children. It took her I forget how she puts it. Sorry, I had the long COVID, and so one of those things is brain fog and remembering simple words. But she didn't pass that along to us. So I never really grew up religious, but I did go to Catholic school for a few months when I was in 3rd grade. And well, they kicked me out. They didn't like me. But I remember looking at my teachers being like, this is crap. Like, this is a book. You guys, it's a book. Somebody wrote it. I remember thinking that in 3rd grade, and so I've never religious. I just never put like atheist on it. I was just like, I really don't care. I believe in math and science and logic and reason. And I think, and when people are like, oh, morality wouldn't exist if there wasn't a God, I'm like, sure it does. Like, what are you talking about?
Because
I don't want to be a shitty person, so I'm not going to be a shitty person.
Oftentimes, the religious solution to the Euthyphro dilemma is just to throw it the fuck out the window. It's like there's a reason that exists.
Yeah, I was like, and so 3rd grade, I decided, but no, I wasn't going to follow any religion, and I've looked into other religions, and. I mean, when I was 12, I looked at my older sister and was like, yeah, I don't want to be like her, and just decided to go on my own way instead of looking up to my big sister. So it's just like, I don't know. I think I always had a kind of a logical brain and just like, no.
Would you, what is this? I think, I just saw that message. Which Catholic
message?
School, from Frank Zappa. Yes.
Great song. It just started playing in my head when I saw that.
And so that's intriguing, especially from a Catholic parent that didn't, because my familiarity with the Catholic Church and the extreme nature the Catholic, especially when it comes to the Bible. And it's interesting that a Catholic mother would not impart that to their children, not make that a big part. That's unique in and of itself. And it was weird because on mine, I was brought up Methodist, and born and raised, brought up in the Methodist church. I was confirmed Methodist. My mother's a devout believer, and I slowly but surely fell out of it and it's actually, I have to put some of that on my mom, because my mother it was similar to what you did, but my mother beat it into my brothers and I's heads that if something doesn't make sense, always ask. Never be afraid to ask questions, because you're never going to learn anything new if you don't ask. And if something doesn't make sense, then you need to find out why. You need to be like, you need to ask questions, because you need to be able to reconcile these things. And as much as it was, things about church like this, she hammered that into us. Never, because she knows that if people can just be, convinced of things, then that's the easiest way to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, the flat earthers have taught us you can't convince people of facts.
Right.
Or logic.
So when I was in the church, I remember it was after my confirmation, and I was standing in, I was just normal Sunday service, and my pastor, Pastor Jack, is since retired, is an amazing dude, and I would actually say more of a philosopher than a man of God. I know he was a pastor in the Methodist Church, but he was big time a philosopher, and he understood things in a way and was able to talk to me about things in ways that nobody else had. But there was a disconnect between behavior in the church and what it seems hypocrisy. And it was when sermon was being given and a joke was made in the sermon at the expense of the Baptists. And if anybody knows the long running history between the Methodists and the Baptists, it's a thing. And, the joke was made at the Baptist expense, and everybody laughed, and it was funny. And I'll admit, looking back, I remember I got it, but it felt weird because we're in church and we're all on the same side. Why are we poking fun at someone else just because they believe differently? That was weird to me. And that was the first step. That didn't make sense. I needed to investigate this. Lo and behold, the journey it would lead me on a little over a decade later, and here I am, an atheist. And I did the step thing. I was very much like, oh, I'm a hardcore Christian, and then I'm a Christian but non-practicing. I'm spiritual. I'm this, and then I'm pantheist, and went through all things, investigated all these religions. Eventually, wound up here. The more people I talked to, the more religions I experienced, and eventually, just this is where I was, and I was like, oh wow, and so we've seen that our mothers were instrumental in kind of helping us to be who we are today. Yeah. My mother, much to her chagrin. So,
and my mom and I are super close. So it's like, it's just, I'm thankful for her not to have shoved religion down my throat. Although she's the one who put me in Catholic school because she wanted to hold me back in school. That's a whole nother story. And they wouldn't let her in public school. She's like, no, we tested your daughter. She's too smart. We're not holding her back. My mom's like, no, I want this. Okay, fine. I'll put her in private school. And just happened to be the private school is Catholic. And the church burned down right before I got there. I don't think that was a sign, but it could be. I don't know. I was only in third grade.
So, as far as engaging in the discussions, do you engage in those debates a lot, or are you just like listening to them, or?
I listen to them. That way I can become knowledgeable on it. But I engage with the TV because I usually watch it on my TV, and I'll be like, "That's not what atheists mean." So I would engage in the conversation if I come across one. So I'm not scared of having conversations about religion with people. I don't think those things should be taboo. Politics, religion. I think everyone should talk to people that believe other things. That way they get out of their echo chambers.
And I would say it's important for people to learn, a lot of people out there to learn how to preface this, because there's a lot that goes into it. Number one, understand why people get angry when beliefs are attacked, because neurologically the brain understands an attack against beliefs as it interprets that as an attack against the person, which is why people get the way they get. It's just a matter of neurophysiology, but you can control it because your brain does recognize the difference between a physical assault and kind of like a mental assault, kind of like attacking an idea. But the response is you have to kind of train yourself to not respond in that grievous way, like, oh, I'm going to punch you because you attacked my belief.
Don't take it so personally.
Right.
It's not simple.
And people don't have to take it that personally. I see Randolph Richardson is in the house. Good to see you, Randolph. Thank you so much for popping in. He is the president of Canadian Atheists. He's an amazing dude, and we do the panel every other Sunday over on Discord, where we go up there and let theists come up and talk to us. It's entertaining, to say the least.
I would love that. Like, I watched the one with Matt
Dillahunty?
Out of Houston. Yeah, Dillahunty.
Yeah.
I was listening to that, and I was like, I really am enjoying this.
It's really interesting stuff as far as what the ACA is doing, the Atheist Community of Austin is doing down there. I like their efforts and that they are working towards separation of church and state and ensuring that. I don't know how they're going to react regarding what's going on down in Rio Grande City with this girl who was locked up for inducing an abortion. It's abominable to me. I get angry. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy when we're sitting here and all the things that we've talked about and all the things that we've railed against, and people have told, and I can tell you, I've had conversations where I've brought this up to Christians, have been like, this is what we're scared of. This is what we don't want to happen. And I've heard a number of times, it will never happen. Christians don't believe this. No one's going to do this. And
it's happening.
It is, and it happens.
It's happening.
And
like, I don't care what people believe in. I think people should believe in whatever they want. I'm not going to judge. But once you start imposing those beliefs onto other people and making things illegal, Like, not even just shaming them. You're straight up making it illegal and you're threatening to lock them up. That's ridiculous. That church and state have always been separate. Why can't they see that this whole anti-abortion thing is definitely a religious fact? Like, people feel a certain way, and that's very heavy leaning on religious people over like almost extreme religious.
Agreed. Yes, it is. And then you turn around and you have what's going on in Tennessee. And I don't know what state you're in, but over in Tennessee, where they are actively trying to lower the marriage age.
Oh my God. I'm in Oregon, by the way.
Okay. So over on the East Coast, Tennessee, or towards the East, Tennessee is trying to lower the marriage age to, I think, 16.
Why? I mean, was it a problem before? I mean, do you have a lot of 16, 17-year-olds that are like, no, I want to get married now, and without the permission of their parents? I mean, is this a problem?
There was some dude, let me see here. It was Tennessee marriage age.
Because I feel that girls that are getting married at a young age, it's like it's not that they want to either. It's just like, you will marry this person. To me, I don't feel like it's their choice. And if it is their choice, then they're definitely not old enough to make the right choices, because that's a bad idea.
Let's see. Tennessee lawmakers address age issue in proposed marriage bill. New problem identified. Let's see. Critics of a controversial common law marriage bill that is working its way through the Tennessee legislature are worried that it would allow child marriage or child sex abuse. There's a new concern with House Bills 0233. Republican Tom Leatherwood from Arlington added an amendment in a firestorm of criticism that addresses the age component, effectively outlawing child marriage. But yeah, it was like, I can't see where it was really originally proposing it. No, sign of Sumatra, which defines marriages between one man and one woman, a pushback against gay marriage, which has been legal in the U.S. since 2015. The bill, something like it was weird. Obviously, there's a firestorm of controversy going around this, but that's what was going on in Tennessee. Here in Oklahoma, where I live, there's currently a push for anti-abortion across the board, like a universal abortion ban is what's currently on the books here in Oklahoma. So
even with incest and rape, and it's just like, that is not okay.
and within, I mean, and unlike in Texas, I mean, that would make it the most restrictive in the nation. Currently, it's Texas who has that, with no, and obviously rape or incest don't apply, and of course has to be, if an abortion is done, has to be within 6 weeks. And I mean, I can't get pregnant, but I've talked to you.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing. It's like, it's all men that are making these decisions. Like, you don't have to deal with this. Like, you have a small part in it. I get that, but I would probably listen to some of the women, like, and what they feel on this. I don't know, maybe bring them into the conversation.
That was a nice.
They are voters.
That was a nice burn there, by the way.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a small part in it. I mean, but how easy is it for a man to walk away? Or how many men don't even know if they have children? Like, they may have children out there and they don't know.
Right.
Like, women definitely know if they have children out there.
Regios, good to see Regios in the chat. Good to see a member of the Godless Army. If I said maybe I am getting old. I may have said hi to Regios before, but I saw that. Tony Regime would like to say, my part isn't that small. that was my joke.
Sorry, Fatty, I know you're not that small.
I'm not that small. I
didn't mean to defend all you men out there. I'm just talking about the making of the child. You have a role.
Mm-hmm. It definitely takes two to tango.
It does.
So this extremism obviously is massive, and it is growing. And of course, we want to speak out against that. And that's typically the work that I do over here, and I try to do by doing the stuff that I do on Discord, the stage that I'm a part of, and the content that I create. So, but
I'd love to join you on Discord someday, and we definitely don't want the coat hanger abortions coming back.
We don't, and that essentially, this Rio Grande City situation is she's 26 years old. And we looked at where Rio Grande City is. Rio Grande City is this tiny. Good night, Chris Durham. He says, I'm already old. Good night. Good night, dude. Thank you for coming by. And Rio Grande City is this tiny little town that's down South Texas on the Mexican border. It is far away from anything. There's literally nothing around it. Takes forever to go east and get to McAllen, and it, even further to get up to Nuevos Laredo. That's up along the river. So it's in the middle of nowhere. 26 years old, middle of nowhere, can't get an abortion, has no access, and probably found out after 6 weeks. And then like the vast majority of women. And then, of course, turns around, tries to induce an abortion, winds up in the hospital trying to do it herself, miscarries in the hospital. And then the hospital informed the authorities. They arrest her, put her in jail for $500,000 bond.
Oh yeah, because she's such a flight risk.
And when the fine in Texas for rape is $10,000, and $500,000 bond for murder charges, and then she's since bonded out, which is at least one step. But she's bonded out. But this is what went down there, and this is because Greg Abbott, of course, has set the stage for this. It's absolutely insane. So
Greg, that would be a man, right?
Yes, very much so. One of the most controversial governors in the state of Texas. And I lived in Texas for over 30 years and had to deal with his crap. And I'm not there anymore, which is a bummer because I can't vote against him when Beto O'Rourke is going for the governorship. Hopefully they oust Greg Abbott, because this is getting what I view it as. The intention is that Greg Abbott wants to keep his seat. He likes the cushy wheels on his seat. And in order to do that, he's making the state. And yes, Aaron Colson, her name was Lizelle Herrera. And so he wants to keep that seat, and he's doing it, the way he's pulling it off is by making the state virtually unlivable for people who think differently. And Hulkenberg said, I don't know why the systematic disrespect or disabuse or subjugation of women and women's rights has been a thing that's long. It's obviously I can tell you this honestly. The vast majority of this anti-women ideology, subservient women, barefooting in the kitchen, obey your husband and shit like that, that shit comes from the Bible. Straight up, 100%, that comes from the Bible.
Yeah.
And this whole thing that women don't have control over their bodies or whatever this crap, that's all religiously influenced. We can thank Christianity for that bullshit. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, women weren't even able to vote for a long time. I mean, it's
a
always
constitutional
been a
amendment to make what? It's ridiculous.
And there's my hero right next to the Constitution on my wall.
Notorious RGB, hell yeah, or that's RBG, right. Notorious RBG.
I knew who you were talking about.
Mean, and hopefully, our newest appointment will also have a positive effect going forward. I think that was groundbreaking. I haven't memorized her name yet. Most likely you have.
I haven't either. I have I've taken a hiatus off the news for a while. Had to.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, if I'm pronouncing her first name correct. So hopefully that will.
I heard she was drugged through the mud on this whole.
That confirmation, okay, and people, I don't know, nobody's going to talk about it. Because that confirmation hearing, even though she did get the appointment, that confirmation was more brutal than anything Kavanaugh endured.
Yeah.
And
Kavanaugh, she probably didn't cry, did she?
No. And Kavanaugh's a piece of shit. And this girl, she held, strength of character. Exactly what we want on the Supreme Court, with a track record of somebody we want on the Supreme Court. So hopefully, thankfully, another voice of reason on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but the damage has been done. I mean, that doesn't even balance out the replacement for RBG. I mean, how can you went to the extreme opposite? Well, not extreme opposite, because it isn't a man, so it is a woman that they replaced her with. But still, beliefs are the extreme opposite.
At least the only thing that really, as far as, I hold on to hope in this way, because of the system that we have. We can vote people out as long as we are organized and we push back against them, and as long as there's a great enough voice, we can vote people out and get rid of them and put up the people that we want to get in there. It's almost been inspiration enough for me to try and go for office. Although even just starting locally, maybe here in my city, then move up a little bit, slowly but surely, just try and do what I can. The problem is that I'm an atheist, and I'm outspoken when it comes to it. And unfortunately, atheism is not normalized in this country. And it wouldn't matter if I walked up and I said, I have got this. I can balance the national budget, and I can solve the Mideast crisis, and I can do this, and everybody gets what they want. It's like, oh, do you believe in God? No, I do not. It's like, you're out. So,
and that's a shame too, because you logically don't believe in God, so you're able to focus on the things that matter. But yeah, no, you'd be out. Plus, you're on YouTube, and they can just take your image and they can make you say whatever you want, and like, or one little thing out of Although we've seen that you can say a lot of horrible things and still become president. This is true.
Oh, it's wild times that we're living in. So
yeah, and I'm an optimist, but it's getting harder.
It kind of is, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I see that it's getting a little late. It's about 11 p.m. right now, and I've been going for about 3 hours. So going out like that, with what you see it's going on in a number of states: Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas. We see a trend of the states that of where that's happening. Ultimately, where do you see this going as far as what atheists have to do, non-religious, or people who are simply not Christian?
I see the divide getting more extreme, and I see that that shame is going away. That there's just no shame in the hate and such. I think for atheists, because I kind of find us all encompassing. It's like, yeah, sure, we don't believe in God. It doesn't mean we're not moral. Doesn't mean we don't love people, and we tolerate a lot. I think it's just trying to be like, how do you ease the hate?
Right.
Because it comes even with all the strict abortion laws. Like, just that comes from such a negative place, and there's so much negativity. It's like Ghostbusters 2, it just spreads.
That was good. Oh, and ultimately, I don't want to see us come like. That's why I named this one the Slouching Towards Bethlehem one. Only it's kind of like the reverse imagery of what Yates was trying to say there. In that's ultimately where we're heading. It's that it's becoming Christianity versus anyone who's not Christian. And that lumps atheists, deists, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, all of us into one camp against them.
Yeah, even their flavor of Christianity. It's like they're even against their own Christian spin-offs.
Splinter factions. Aaron Reese says, fear leads to hate. Yes, fear leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side. I know that there's probably more to that quote, but
yeah. And the internet is definitely a double-edged sword. It brings people together in their hate and brings people together in their love.
Agreed. Raven Darkstar says, what's next? Bringing back stoning adulterers in the town square?
That just makes me think of a really big bong in the town square.
As much as I'd like to laugh and say, no, that will never happen, I never imagined I'd live to see the day where someone who got an abortion was put in jail for it.
But how many politicians would be stoned then? A lot. So they're not going to put up a law against themselves.
Absolutely.
But I could see it kind of going towards, The Handmaid's Tale.
Which Cindy Sue just brought up, The Handmaid's Tale. And that was
great minds.
I put that on my that was the live stream. That was the thumbnail image for the live stream. Was I had some fun with the state seal of Texas and replaced it with the symbol of Gilead. And put that up there, and then I took that image and I tweeted it to Greg Abbott, recommending it as, you might want to update the state seal for Texas. I think this might work for you. And so it's a combination of the two. But yeah, it's getting wild. I don't know I don't know what's going to go down. At this point, all bets are off. I'd like to be able to think that this is a one-off and it's extreme, and that we will stamp it down immediately. But it's getting more and more egregiously worse. And I know that I moved out of Texas, which is why I no longer have a voice there. But I do have a voice here in Oklahoma, so I will do my best here in this smaller state. But I don't know. It's just getting crazy. And
It's getting scary.
Scary stuff.
I couldn't believe January 6th. Like, I'm like, wow.
That blew my mind. We were at work. Like me and my coworker and I, Miguel, we were at work and just doing a thing. And then all of a sudden Miguel walked up and he's like, dude, have you heard what's going on? I'm like, no. It's like, and we sat there watching on his phone, and it's just like everything stopped. It's like,
yeah,
what? Assault on the Capitol. I was like, are you out of here?
Yeah, it did feel like the day, like the O.J. Simpson verdict. Everyone stopped and paused for it. It's just like people were just. I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe that that happened, and that they felt patriotic about it, and the bringing the Confederate flag into the Capitol building. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. Way to back a winner.
Yeah, that's a bad. That's the optics are not good. I don't think they thought that one through.
No.
So, Colorado Bike says January 6th was a symptom of the extremist ideology that has become pervasive now, and absolutely. And earlier, before you came on, we were talking about something that I brought up, and this was for believers that are out there, Christians that are out there, that this is the vocal minority. This is not all of Christianity. These people do not represent the faith, in my personal opinion, but they call themselves Christians. They stand up when counted, and they are doing it in the name of Christianity, in the name of their God. And they occupy roughly around, I'd say 28 to 30% of Christianity. But that means 70% of Christianity is doing nothing to curtail this and say, you don't represent us. This is not what Christianity is about. This is not the message of Christ. And I don't get this. And I understand that there's a fear of divide within the church, and they don't want more division, and they don't want interfaith. Right, and I don't want to see the United States become Belfast. When Christians go up against the extremists are going against anyone who is not them. I don't want to see it turn into that.
I don't want to see another civil war either. Like we don't need that. We don't need any of that. And I don't know how to bring the sides to at least a common meeting ground where it's just like you don't hate each other.
Right.
Like, why is it just automatically personal attacks if somebody is not the same political party as you or the same religion as you? And then it's like, you're dumb. And it's like, well, how am I dumb just because I don't agree with you? It's like, no, you don't need to do the personal attacks.
Oh, I don't know. Aaron Ree says, I had my bug out bag ready on January 5th. I knew they were going to pull something insane somewhere. It's again there. And yeah, Aaron Colson says civil war is exactly what the most extreme want. And I don't want to see us get there, but I do have my exit strategy planned. Both Angela and I have we know where we're going in the event. We're like, no, I got friends up north.
Oh yeah. And I used to live in Mexico. I'll go back down there. That was a phenomenal place to live.
Mexico, especially Mexico itself, and especially I will say Mexico City is an absolutely beautiful.
And I did Baja California, the whitewashed Mexico. Where I was so excited to learn Spanish, but then everyone spoke English.
I loved because I was born and raised in San Diego, and
I was raised in San Diego.
Yay! There we go. I was in Kearney Mesa, Balboa area.
Okay, no, I was Oceanside,
yes!
Rancho Bernardo, Rancho Penskitas.
Yes,
my family's still there.
I fucking love Oceanside.
I love San Diego. I love visiting, but I love leaving too because it's getting hot.
My wife and I took a week vacation, and we stayed at this little no-frills surfer hotel right off the boardwalk, right off of in Oceanside. Whereas literally, you walk out, you open the windows, like, hey, there's the Pacific, and you walk 5 minutes, and then you're in the ocean. It was absolutely amazing. And
right next to the Top Gun house, that's still there.
That may have been. I know that we were about 15 minutes from the Oceanic Observatory.
Okay. Well,
right there
everything's
off-
15 minutes away.
It was like if you walk down the beach 15 minutes, you could see. Well, if you walk down to the beach, you can see the Ocean Observatory right there. You could walk to it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So, but it was an absolute blast. She'd never been to California or seen like the Pacific Ocean in that respect. So that was a lot of fun. I hope to go back there soon. Surf says there's something alive under the picture.
Yep.
Yes. All right.
She came
Tina,
alive.
Tina's got to make dinner, and I think that may be it. So, Aaron Reese says, "Well, shit, JL, I was going to come there because I live very rurally, so I'm away from everything. And even if there was like if Putin like was extreme and like nuclear so like this, we're not really in the range of anything nuclear. So I'm that rural, so I'm really happy about that. So,
well, they brought up being able to attack Portland from Guam or wherever they're at, that Portland could be attacked. And I'm like, there's no military in Portland. Leave us alone. Go to San Diego. There's tons of military down there.
Pendleton's down there.
Pendleton,
Go there.
Coronado. I mean, come on. They've got bigger targets.
Pendleton, Coronado, Miramar. It's Oregon.
You got every branch of the military is there.
You got trees and Bigfoot. They have nothing to do with you. I don't know. I don't believe in Bigfoot.
We have a lot of First Amendment auditors.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. I'm like, I say the Northwest because there's lots in Washington as well. But Portland's right next to Washington State, so.
Surf says we all meet up at JL's, then carpool to wherever he is escaping to. And John Rapp is in the house, another member of the Godless Army. Thank you, John Rapp says, have you been to Teotihuacan? I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. He says, I have not been. And he says, I have climbed and stood atop the Pyramid of the Sun. I have not had that opportunity, unfortunately, but I hope to one day. Hopefully what this channel will eventually do as it grows will afford me the ability to travel more extensively and see a lot more of the world. But yeah, but this has been absolutely amazing. So I think it's about that time. Yes, Randolph's giving the cat alert. But thank you, Megan, for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
It was a blast. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Good to finally sit down and have a dialogue regarding all the craziness. Hopefully it will die down.
I hope so. I don't know. It's the same as we were talking about in the country. Hope it dies down.
This is true.
But send me your Discord link in my email.
Will do. Now the Discord that I have, I'll send you the Discord link too, the politics one. And that one, one second, and I can actually do that real quick. So this is the one that we do where we do the stages, and you can join us there. And I actually have that already pulled up. So bam, and
sweet.
Bam, done. And so that's where we hold the Discord stages every other week. So we did the last one on the 3rd. So you will see Randolph, me, and a bunch of other really awesome, like-minded individuals on the 17th is when the next one will be. So look forward to having you out there. All right. Oh, and thank you, Rick Manellis, for $1.99 for $1.99 Freedom Dollars. Says thanks, JL. Nice to meet you, Megan.
Pleasure's all mine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Rick. I do appreciate the support. So I think that's going to be where I call it. It's a little over 3 hours, and I see that people are getting tired and going to eat dinner and go to sleep. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. Big, huge thank you to PhD Tony for sitting in with us. Thank you, Megan, for coming on so we could have that dialogue and sort that out. Hopefully that dies down and is the end of it. We don't need any more of it. Thank you to all of the channel members. Thank you to all of you. You guys help make this channel happen. You make all of this possible. And of course, if you want to be a channel member, you can be. The link is in the description. It's 99 cents a month because that's about as much as I value my content. And you can get access to all of the cool emojis I make for you. And of course, the channel badges. So I appreciate all of that. And then of course, everybody who came into the live chat, love you all. Thank you all so very, very much. I do appreciate it.
Good night, guys.
So everybody have a fantastic night. And remember, be excellent. Oh, sorry. And remember, be safe, be excellent to each other. And together, we can bridge the divide.